Morgan back in again, or Cassie Moore in, and Bismarck Morgan.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do? It wouldn't be real if that didn't fucking happen, right? So, how are you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Spectacular.
So you came a long way. You've got all kinds of stuff going on: merchandise, label,
Yes,
mixer, new engineer,
Been
or
fun.
really
It's
hardcore with the engineer. And you're doing all kinds of events and everything else. I've been seeing you pop up with Tory Lanez,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Wheels, Wings, and Fashion. I mean, you've been out.
that was a time.
I bet it was.
Good call on the Tory Lanes.
I was there.
Sir, thank you for your presence. That was great. Thank you.
Bismarck the butterfly.
So before we start, we were talking about Elon. What do you think his purpose was with the whole Twitter thing? Do you think he was ever actually going to buy it?
God, I don't know, man. Can we even call it? I have no idea. I was telling Bismarck, he was on Twitter, and one of the auto manufacturers were like, hey, we're launching our electric car or whatever, and he commented, he's like, thanks, I already have one. I was like,
What do you think he's doing, Bismarck?
Dude, I just think he's supernatural.
You think he had originally, do you think he was going to buy it?
Maybe no. So to that like train of thought, I think he was maybe more of a bluff that he could fulfill anyway. I mean, it's different when a non-billionaire says, I'm going to buy Twitter, and then someone that can actually do it buys Twitter.
Yeah.
So I think it was just like, okay, where's this going to go if I put it in motion?
See, I think he was going to buy it only because he started hanging out with Jack Dorsey. And I think he was going to buy it, and then I think he was going to have Dorsey run it. Because I think Dorsey, even though he got the blame for everything, I think the board basically pushed him out. Because from what I know is that Dorsey originally wanted it to be like a censored Twitter then an uncensored Twitter. So then I think Elon went to Dorsey, got all the info he could, and realized what the hell was going on.
Mm-hmm.
But the original plan being Dorsey run it, Elon goes back to Tesla, and it runs good. But then when you have half of Twitter with bots and you're asking $43 billion, it's a little bit of a problem, and he's not a fucking idiot.
Yeah, right?
So that's
Should get him on the podcast.
Yeah, in a couple of years. What was that car you were talking about?
Oh, it's called Lucid.
Your latest podcast from Mars.
I could take me. What the hell is the Lucid one you're talking about?
It's like it's a luxury electric car that's like competing with Tesla. It's a very, very expensive car. They actually have one downtown West Palm area, so I'll pop it up right here.
Yeah, pull it up. So I guess that would be the competition to Tesla?
I guess so.
I don't know. It looks like a Tesla, right?
No, it does.
I've seen them. I mean, they're
You've seen them before?
they've been out for a little bit.
They're very expensive though.
Are they?
It's a 6-figure car.
Shit. So Bismarck, what got you into starting to do more and more events?
You know what? Sometimes you just get texts and calls. That's all I say.
Is that what it was?
Wish I could tell you I had it on a calendar, but, will you answer? I think that's a great question to myself and every indie artist out there, right? Like, you get opportunities, and the more you say yes, it's funny how more happens because you don't know what's going to lead to what.
And then the more you're out there, the more you network and everything else.
That event was actually pretty cool because I got in through different angles. There was more than one person saying yes, so that was really cool. But that comes with time. So, it was I'm honored to like even one to be asked to be part of it. So, it was crazy. That was fun.
Yeah, and that was
wild.
You weren't there. Where were you at? That was the Polo Club.
Probably in the studio.
At Palm Beach. Probably working.
No, I think I was out of town that weekend. Because I was supposed to go with you.
I feel like you're supposed to be there. Yeah.
I was supposed to be there. I flew out of town. I think I was in California actually that weekend. But no, Bismarck. Yeah. Listen. I hunker down in the studio and I send Bismarck out to like the hottest, latest event.
So if people didn't see the other ones, give a little background on you and you, so everybody knows like a little bit of a background. Then we'll get into everything.
Yeah.
Play the saxophone. Love people. I have a love for life. Music makes me feel like I'm at home. So I think that's probably this core general definition. Do private events, production, developing myself as an artist, one of the many indie artists out there trying to hustle and make it. So part of that.
Now, out of all the events that you do, like the weddings, the solos, the yachts that you were crushing on before, what you personally do you enjoy the most? I know you love them all, but personally, because like comedians, like even for you, this is for you too.
Mm-hmm.
Comedian, you go in front of big crowds and small crowds. So like a lot of big comedians, they like that just 200 crowd once in a while the best.
Yeah.
Personally, of course, they love the stadiums and when there's thousands and thousands of people. But a lot of comedians, they like the smaller malls.
Right.
So I'm just curious to know how you guys are as artists, what you personally like. Not that you don't like something else less, but what you just personally kind of have an edge for.
Go ahead. No.
Okay, I say I like definitely like, I guess you could say intimate events, but I'm gonna get a little more technical in my answer. It's the how I get involved. So you could say you're part of a business, right? Or you're part of a company that does weddings or things all the time. But for me, luckily, and I'll be out of town in 2 weeks playing one of these events. It was a one-on-one invitation. I was direct bride to groom. They saw me somewhere and they're like, "Hey, I remember you. Let's stay in touch." We stay in touch over a couple of years, and there's no way to put that on a book. There's no way to
You can't buy
plan
that.
it. You can't buy that.
You can't buy direct contact
Right.
with the groom and bride
Mm-hmm.
for 3 years. Then they saw you 3 years ago.
Mhm.
Congratulations on that.
So I think that's that. And then when you go to places like that, that usually bleeds into a good vibe because, everybody knows everybody. They're all friends. They're going to be around good people. So you can't the atmosphere, you just can't buy it. And you don't know when it's going to come. That's the thing. So when it's there, you got to grab it. You got to I'm going to vibe in this moment.
What about you?
For me, the more the merrier, I can't wait to do festivals. I tell Bismarck all the time, I'm like, 10,000 people and up. That's,
Yeah.
I'm excited about that. I want to be able to utilize the choreography that we've done and bring everyone on stage.
How hard is that choreography? Like, how much time do you have to put into that? Let's just say you come out with a single.
Yeah.
And you're gonna take it. You think this is a really good one, and you're gonna make a video, and you know that sometime, somewhere, you're gonna tour with it.
Yeah.
How long does it take to learn the choreography? Just because your dancers need to know, you need to know.
Yeah.
That just seems like a nightmare.
It's, I don't know. For me, I was a cheerleader for all my life, right? So choreography, I've been doing choreography my whole life. I think a lot of it has to do with like the choreographer that you hire that kind of quarterbacks everybody, I hired a choreographer out of LA, Styx, who's amazing. He's done choreo for, I don't know, a lot of stars, Eminem, Selena Gomez, to name a couple.
Congratulations.
And he's amazing, and it was one of these things where I've got a video up a level coming out, which you will see this outfit in. But he, I sent him the song and I was like, listen, I trust you, and within a day he had it back to me, and then it's just, I don't know. I think choreography is kind of, once you've been doing it for so long, it's pretty fast for me to learn. I know on our video Simia, it was like I learned the choreography on set.
Wow.
As we were doing.
You cheat. You cheat. You were a cheerleader. You already knew how to do all that stuff.
We came
Cheater.
up with different ideas, and I was like, let's just do it. You know what I mean?
So now you're a cheater because you're a cheerleader, and you could probably eat 10 pizzas a day and not gain a pound, because I see them sweat when they do that. Like in those yoga rooms or whatever you call them. I see you people doing that choreography.
I don't do hot yoga.
No. I'm saying it looks like a yoga room, like a gym or a gymnastics room. And you guys are killing yourselves, burning 10,000 calories.
I know. Yeah.
So you can eat French fries all day long.
It's fun. Well,
Lucky.
Thanks, Mom, for the fast metabolism.
Yeah, you're blessed. Now, you did a wedding at Porsche, and I read in an article that was one of your favorite events to do, because I guess after that was a Breakers event.
Yeah. So, man, it's out of the box. What can I say? I didn't wake up that morning, oh, hey, we looking for weddings at Porsche dealerships. I wish it was like that. But, I tell you what, saying yes is valuable. I think to any indie artist out there, whenever you get opportunities, say yes, because you don't know what it's going to lead to.
But how did you get that
For
gig?
sure.
How did they pick you to come to Porsche and then everything else?
I call it a relationship chain, right? So I would say someone asked somebody, and someone at some point knew me as a sax guy, and I just got chained in. It was a couple of years back, but like if I'm gonna really pinpoint how I got in, it's literally like that. You can't underestimate good relationships, and like at every level, because that's I think the world just runs on that.
So you just got in through networking, basically, right?
Yeah.
Everything's fucking networking.
You know what? It's, as an indie, I mean, to piggyback on what Bismarck said, it's like, as an indie artist, you are independent. That's what indie means, right? So you're responsible for everything. So it's like when you get an opportunity or somebody that wants to meet with you, work with you, do something with you, you just say yes. You just do it. You know what I mean? Because it's like, what do you have to lose? If anything, you'll learn something. Even if it goes sour, you've learned something from that deal, right? And you've taken it forward. But it's the hardest part about being an indie artist. It's like you just, you're kind of weaving your own direction with all of these opportunities that get thrown at you, right?
Absolutely.
Now, last time you were in, I know you were doing like your own type of producing and everything else, but your focus was the music.
Yeah.
What led to where you're producing, where you're no longer just an artist? You're producing, you're doing all kinds of other stuff. You have a whole new label. You have a label page.
Yeah.
Can you pull that up, her more label page, and then we'll go through it. But
Yeah.
how did that transition take place?
Yeah, sure. I had been writing musical compositions since I was like 14, right? So music has always been something I did as a hobby. And then when I was up in New York, and I was in the studio in New York, it was like the minute I learned Pro Tools and learned production, it was like game over. You know what I mean? Like I just started producing music, and then I think, kind of going back to like independent artists, right? I was in a career with, a brokerage firm, right? I mean, I was in wealth management prior. So all of my years kind of in the Wall Street job, it's like you learn the business skills that you need in the music industry, right? Because you have music, but the music is definitely a business, right? And so for me, to answer your question, it was like I got to a point where I was like, okay, if I'm going to be in music, I want to make sure that I'm successful regardless of what happens with the music. Like, how else can I carve my way into this industry, and part of that was founding my own label. It was like, it was very important to me to be able to control and own everything I did 100%, right? And so, the way I structured myself is my label owns me. It owns my production. It owns my IP. Like everything I do through that entity. And then, it allows me, and the approach I take with business is not your traditional approach. As a label, I'm not looking to sign artists, right? I'm not looking to lock them into a contract. I approach my projects on a song or album basis. It's like, here's what we're going to do for this project, and here's our deal for this project. And then it allows them the freedom to work with whoever they want to, right? And still be a part of More Music and what we're doing at More Music. And I really enjoy that. I feel like people really feel like they thrive and they have autonomy. I'm real big on always being able to empower people in the music industry. As a woman, it's like that's been my biggest challenge is, people kind of trying to tell you what you can and can't do, right? And it's like, no. Let me do what I want to do and be who I want to be and live that out for myself. And in the same, aspect, I want others to feel that empowerment as well. So,
and you had said that only 2% of women are producers.
Yeah.
I could see, I didn't think it was that low. I mean, I could see it being like 10, because, if a woman has 3 or 4 kids and doesn't have a good guy, it's tough to be a producer because you got to spend time and time and time. So my guess would have been like 10, 15%.
Yeah.
Not 2%.
Yeah, those numbers are low.
That's real low.
Isn't that crazy?
low,
I know, it's crazy. And, the production is what I love. Like, it's just, you have a lot of, DJs that produce, or, you know what I mean? Like the true just production side is what I love. I have no interest in spinning music. I you know what I mean? I want to create music of my own. You know what I mean? And so it's just what I love. And I don't know why there aren't more women. I think it's just, I don't know. You know
the
what I mean?
grind, probably the grind.
Maybe.
Because you're going against men, right? That are alpha, usually alpha male. And then you're going to come in and he might be boys with the engineer or A, B, C, D. And now here you come. And, I could see how hard it would be for a woman, because I would think, man, is she going to bitch and moan all day long? I mean, that's what I would think. I'm not being an asshole. I'm being serious.
No, I get it.
But however,
I can take it, Tommy.
No, not you. I'm just saying in general. I mean, that's what I would think. But then, however, 2%. I mean, damn. Could you think? It would be that low 2%, bro?
Yeah.
Not at all. I think at least, like you said, 10% at least. That's
what though?
If you put 1,000 men in a 1,000 men in a room, they're a mess. Mm-hmm. You put 1,000 women in a room, 75% is going to be very organized and clean, right? So when you go to producing, if you think about it like that, I don't know. Maybe I would deal with the complaining if there's any complaining, because everything would be organized.
Yeah. Right?
Making a joke out of it, but
it's
it's bullshit that it's only 2%. That's insane.
It's wild. It's wild. And Spotify has really embraced me as a producer. You know what I mean? It's like, they're doing, not just as a producer, but as an independent artist, an independent producer and label owner. It's like, they really are, on the forefront of, giving the platform and helping to launch in any way that they can these independent
Do you know how many acquisitions they bought? They're doing an overhaul in 23, January 23. They dropped about $32 billion in acquisitions. So everything on YouTube, which is basically Megaphone. Megaphone is YouTube. Likes, comments, all that other shit. They have Megaphone, the tracker. It's called like Sarah's. They have everything. They have more software than YouTube. They just haven't implemented it at all, which is great for you guys.
Yeah.
But I don't think they're changing much with the podcast, because when I asked my guy, he's like, some things will change with the podcasting, but for the artist, it's really going to be an overhaul, because now they're going to compete more with like Apple and such. And I think they're going to crush.
Spotify is
it's going to be it's going to crush. I think YouTube's going to be shit by 24 because they're not censoring. They'll put a little blue thing, but unless you're crazy, they let you be a human.
Yeah.
And the others don't. And Apple seems to never change anything.
Spotify, I got to tell you, amazing. I'm in love with it.
I'm in love with it too.
I tell you, it's so intuitive. It just knows what I want. I can organize things. I can organize playlists. I have over 150 playlists. Almost.
Do you really?
I have about 160.
Easiest
and somebody bought me a gift last year, and I use it all the time. It's like a little thing I can hook in my shower. It's a speaker that's waterproof. Spotify playlist. My showers last so long, and I come out squeaky clean and full of music. I tell you what, I love it. Spotify is.
Hey, I love them too. I'd marry them if I could. The only thing I don't like Spotify is if you're a podcaster and you have, I don't know how it is with music videos, but if your video, and it's your first time watching a podcast on Spotify, there's this dumb settings box that pops up. And if you don't know, you don't realize that the video is playing right under the settings box.
Oh.
So now, if you don't know, you think, oh, this is just audio. But now if you tap settings, it takes you to data saver. So they're like stuck maybe like 10 years ago when there wasn't unlimited data. And for whatever reason, they haven't taken that out. So you hit settings, and it's to verify that you're okay with using data to stream video, because it's going to take a lot more than audio. But for a podcaster, especially under a contract, that's a bitch because that settings pop up. You think, oh, there's no video here. Maybe you go back to YouTube. You know what I mean?
Got it.
I don't know if it's like that
Interesting.
on the music videos or not.
I will say though that their video quality for podcasts is
Gazillion.
bada bing,
Yeah.
bada boom.
And it's the same
Yes.
4K that is put on YouTube. But
Correct.
you watch it on Spotify and it's night and day. YouTube is done for. I don't care anymore, so I can say it. 6 months ago, I wouldn't be saying that.
EK's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, he's thinking you better not fuck anything up, Doc.
Right.
All right, Cassie, take me through this new site. This is cool. I'm proud of you. I knew somehow, some way you'd end up with some label shit or producing thing.
No. It's the same. I mean, the only difference is
Well, you got more music label, and then you got more music.
Yeah, we do. So, merch. Well, Here to Play. If you click on Here to Play, Here to Play is my collaboration on the production side. So Here to Play is my artist name that I use for production collabs.
Genius.
Now, with your label,
Yeah.
Cassie, are you working on your label itself? So an independent artist comes along,
Yeah.
they want to work with you.
Yeah,
Do you work with other labels
of course.
at all? You do?
Yeah. I
Okay.
mean, absolutely. I mean, if an artist comes to me and, who knows, they may be. I don't just work with indie artists, right?
Gotcha. That's important to note.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Fiji. More than just water.
This is not just rock. It's ancient volcanic rock that filters tropical rain, giving it double the electrolytes and its signature soft, smooth taste. It's not just water. It's Fiji water.
Again, that's FijiWater.com/MSCS. $5 off and free shit. This episode is brought to you by Let's Get Checked. Are you the man your father was? Recent studies have shown that men's testosterone levels have dropped substantially since the 1980s at about an average of 1% per year. Think about how old your father was when he was born. For example, if he was 30, your testosterone levels could be 30% lower than his. Low testosterone levels can have all type of health effects on men. It can affect your mood, sex drive, memory, muscle mass loss, you name it. And yes, low testosterone is more common the older you get, but it can affect men at any age. So let's talk about today's sponsor, Let's Get Checked. You can order a testing kit that will be delivered to you in a discreet packaging with next-day delivery. Once your sample arrives in the laboratory, confidential results will be available from your secure online account within 2 to 5 days. So, if you want to test your hormone levels without having to leave your home, visit trylgc.com/MSCS Media and get 25% off your test using the code MSCS Media. The link is in the description at the top.
So this is the merch. We've got the coolest part about it is, and the reason I'm wearing, what I'm wearing tonight is we're launching merch for indie artists. And we're actually working with an apparel, company out in Los Angeles for that. And I'm going to, with indie artists, when we launch, we'll actually launch. I've got like a sequence line coming out.
You got all kinds.
It's gonna be
of
super fun.
Did he draw them up and everything?
I mean, I have sketches. We're still finalizing the logo.
Look at you. You got men's. Well, click on all of them. EK. Go to catalog. Yeah.
There you go. You can click on.
But yeah.
I mean, we've got,
Yeah, just scroll down through that. EK.
everything I love. Snowboard stuff, hats, shirts, flops, anything that takes you from the beach to the snow.
Yeah.
It's Cassie's vibe. So yeah,
Sweatshirts, everything.
the guys all wanted a camo hat. I was like, all right, fine. Here to play. Camo hat.
Why
So.
is the camo hat? Why
I
do
don't know.
people-
I sell the heck out of those. It's
What's your
crazy.
biggest seller on there on the merchandise?
Oh my God. I posted a reel and tagged, not thinking I would sell. I tagged my flip flops, and I am not going to lie, it crashed my site. It crashed.
That's a
it
good thing.
crashed the site.
Good
This
problem.
one right here.
I call Bismarck. I go, shit.
With that's what
You
crashed
should.
it?
Oh yeah, it was crazy, and like 30. How we were watching it. I got on the phone with him. I was like, what the fuck is going on? And he's like, Cassie's like, shit, we got to do indie artist merch. I was like, that's coming. It's like,
Now, do you think
it's crazy?
if you would have went 360, let's just say you did, hypothetically,
Yeah.
right? And let's just say you signed for 2 years. Because Bismarck, you're independent too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so say both of you just sign that 360 bullshit. You give them everything for a year or two. Now, they're pumping all the money to get your marketing out, label out, everything else. Yeah, you're giving them everything, but they're putting their capital out, getting you known if you're good.
Yeah.
Why not go that route, take the bullet for the year or two, and then you're already out there and don't have to deal with all the legwork?
I don't like that. I just, it's the taking the money from other. I'm really weird about investor situation. You know, like it takes more time to build it on your own, right? But, you know, Bismarck and I, you know, we both come from, you know, solid families. I mean, I don't, you know, my parents obviously have made me work for everything, right?
That's good. That's good.
It's good,
and
right?
That's how it should be today.
But it's there's something when I go to sleep at night, there's something about knowing that I can do whatever I want with my music and nobody else owns it.
But
right?
if you did a 2-year contract, you could get out of it in 2 years, and who knows, you might be doing
but you got to
stadiums.
pay that money. You got to pay that money back. I mean, you know, at the end of the day, I think a lot of it, you know, for me, I'll talk about me specifically.
Sure,
you know,
and then you, Bismarck.
I'm not, you know, when you're not a 14-year-old Justin Bieber, you know what I mean? It's like you have to. There's no selling yourself to the labels, right? The only thing you can do is show up with the fan base. Listen, if you have fans, you can do whatever the fuck you want to do in the music industry. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know, my philosophy is, you know, be kind, connect with people, you know, build your fan base. That has been working for me, right?
But you're pumping like this. I saw your numbers last time and this time.
Yeah.
And you're 3 times what you
I
were.
hustle the shit out. Yeah.
But if you would have done a deal, you would be 10 times these numbers. Maybe you wouldn't have made anything, but you might be touring stadiums.
You might. Yeah, you might. I mean, listen, you definitely get a kickstart, right? You definitely get a kickstart. A lot of that's paid promo. You know what I mean? They're going to take 100,000, 300, put it behind a song, right? But they're going to
What's wrong with that, though?
They're going to want their money back.
Yeah,
You
so
know
you're
what
going to
I
have
mean?
to go tour for
I don't
free.
know.
You're going to have to sell
listen,
merchandise for free.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering, because, like, for me, I mean, everybody's different. You know, I understand,
absolutely,
you know,
absolutely.
and that's what it's all about. For me,
Yeah.
okay, so if I got to go 1 or 2 years and they take all the money from my merchandise, all my tour money, everything, and all I'm doing is basically I'm their dummy. I'm on their dummy mission for 2 years while they take everything. But within that, I'm on tour, I'm getting noticed, you know, I'm on billboards. Yeah, I'm not making anything. Maybe I'm even losing. But then after that 2 years, if I'm good, I'm known. So there's no 5-year wait. There's no 10-time increase. There's increase.
Mean, listen, you got to, you know, not to speak on behalf of other people, right? But I've had a lot of artists share with me horror stories that they've dealt with.
Well,
labels.
Right. But did they go there with a good lawyer? Did they go there with somebody who knows what they're talking about? Did they make sure that they could get out of the contract?
I thought so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Listen, it's not for everyone. At the end of the day, though, I don't have to sell as much to make as much money because I own it all. You know what I mean? So it's like I don't pay anybody out, you know, apart from my collaborators, right? So it's, you don't realize, like, it's, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a
everybody
different
has
way
their
to.
own way. Yeah.
Everyone has their own way, and you know what? Listen, the independent artist, it takes hustle in the industry. Like, you cannot make it if you don't hustle, right? Because nobody else is hustling for you, and we see it all the time. Bismarck and I have this conversation. How many times do we talk about this?
Lost count.
You know what I mean? Like, it'll be 3 a.m. and he's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "I'm talking to people on Instagram," like a crazy person, right? Like,
No, but
listen
you wouldn't
to my
have to
song.
do that. You might
Listen
not have
my
to do
song.
that, though.
I know.
Because say they say, okay, Cassie, you know, we're going to sign you. Here's $4 million. Now, you know that entire $4 million, you're not going to get a penny. But again, you're doing stadiums now.
Yeah.
You know, you got 20,000 people seeing festivals.
Yeah.
That's like the low end.
Yeah.
Because and you would have to grind anyway for the label to notice you. But then that jump starts you 5-10 years.
I mean,
big.
you're in competition. You know, the labels want the newest, latest, freshest artist, right? And they want that all the time, right? So they after a year, 6 months, they might even be tired of you. You know, it's like, hey, we didn't realize this new guy can't. You know what I mean? It's like, for music, there's a creative I hate the word control, but there's a creative empowerment, I think, with owning your work and being able to do whatever the hell you want to do. Like, there's a freedom.
Right.
I can't describe it. You know what I mean? It's like you could move to a different country, right? And maybe, you know, get all of this, but have people telling you, you know, I don't know. There's like, you can't put a price for me. You can't put a price on freedom. It's like, you know, I know that I will be successful. I was raised to be, you know what I mean? I will, Bismarck will be successful. You know what I mean? Because of my work ethic, because of, you know, I don't fear that. I don't have a fear of not being successful. You know what I mean? I think when you have a fear of not being successful, you take that easy route of, okay, I'm going to let somebody else make sure I'm successful. Right?
But is that the easy route for everyone, or is that the smart route for some people?
I don't know. I mean, I don't
understand
know.
where you're coming from,
It might be the smart. I mean, you know, listen. Like I said, it's the independent artist route is not for everyone. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, there are only so many major labels, and I'll be real honest with you. Like now, with platforms like Spotify, how long? I mean, you know what I mean? Where are we going to be 10, 20 years from now? You know, there are so many artists out there.
See, when you say where are we going to be 10, 20 years from now, that's why me personally, and I understand your point. I really do. And I'm sure you agree. I totally understand your point. You're very passionate about what you create. You created it. You put the time into it, and you want it to be yours. You can't knock you for that. That's respectable. Me, yeah, I put the time into it. I created it. But I don't know what the fuck's going to happen in 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
So if I can get even 6 months on a shit deal that maybe I lose, but I get out there quick and fast.
Yeah.
And then from that point, even if they dump me in 6 months because Joe Blow comes along,
or
I do a year or whatever, then I'm out there. Then it's up to me to take it to the next level.
But you got to get someone to sign you, Tommy.
I know.
You're missing the whole... Go get someone to sign you.
Well, I don't know.
You know what I mean?
No,
but that's my point.
Yeah. I skipped that
You
part.
can't...
I'm saying you're at the point where you can get signed.
You know what I mean?
Take the
Like,
360 or you walk
I
away.
already know that if I were to walk into... Now, if I were to walk into Sony, you know, I already know they'd be like, what? You just now want to get into the music industry? You know, sorry. You should have done that 20 years ago, right? But I can go do my own thing, build something of value, and now all of a sudden, you know, have the major labels looking at me like, oh, that might be interesting for us.
Right. Great point. Now,
To-
if you
you know
were
what I
20
mean?
years
Like-
younger, would you think the same?
I don't know, man.
tough
I mean,
call.
it's a different
Different
time.
world.
Listen,
No,
it
same-
was a
same world, but
different
you're 20.
world. It was
Same
a-
world,
it's a
but you're
different
20.
World. Yeah, it's a different same world, but you're 20. I don't know.
Tough
I
call,
can't
huh?
answer that. I
Yeah.
can't answer that because I don't know that I would, with the people that I've met and the platforms available, I still think that I would do my own thing.
I think you would too. Because I think you're just real passionate about what you make and you really just don't want anybody's hands on
To
it.
be honest with
And I
you,
respect that.
to be honest with you, I don't give a shit if it takes me 4 years,
Yeah, well
5
then-
years. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Like if I'm selling, if I've got a gold record, you know, or platinum record 4 years from now, you
Fuck
know
it,
what?
you made it.
4 years, 4 years. I'm like, well, shit. Now I can do I'm fine. I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? It'll take me a couple years, but it'll be more fun for me.
That's a better way to put it.
You know
so
what
if
I
you're
mean?
willing to
Like-
wait the 4 or 5 years and you're fine with that, then sure.
Dude,
Why the
I
fuck
have
not?
I have
Because
met,
then when you go platinum indie, then you're gonna have labels up your ass.
I have met in just no, but
Literally.
well, but I mean, or what the label
don't
is
think so?
building. You know what I mean? Yeah. No, I mean like the projects that we've been doing. It's not just because I'm not approaching this with an artist mindset of, oh, I have to be a successful artist. No. I own a label. I mean, I'm doing music for film. We've got, you know what I mean? I've got 16 different things going on right now, right? And I'm excited about all of them. They're all going to be income streams.
And isn't that right? When you don't overthink it, it
Yeah.
happens better.
Yeah,
Like
no.
Yeah.
when you just let it happen,
Yeah.
it happens
Yeah,
better.
it's been crazy. And Bismarck will tell you, even over the past year, like me sitting back, and I told Bismarck, I was like, you know what? I decided that this is what I wanted to do with this song. It's been over a year and a half.
You're in change. For
It's been,
sure.
Look
it's
at
been a year and a
Bismarck.
half. It's been a
He's
year and a
like,
half.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
It's been a year and a half. And a year ago,
DK, this is one of the coolest guys. He's just so chill.
so chill.
He never hangs out with me, man.
We can change that. We can change
We'll
that.
change that. We'll bring him on the boat.
There you go.
Yeah.
A year ago, I told Bismarck, I was like, you know what? Listen, I got to sit on this because
Yeah, I was fucking
of,
sitting here with you, and his eyes went to the back of his neck.
yeah.
I was sitting there when you said it.
But what's happened? But was that a good call?
100%. Oh,
Was that a good call?
Now, why do you say it was a good call? Why? I know you're gonna have to admit that you're wrong.
I'm just,
well, I
you
mean,
got to do it. Believe me.
it's a risk. I think everything's a risk, right?
Yeah.
Whether you say yes or you say no, it's a risk.
but what relationships have we made?
Yeah. So that's it. Like the waiting is a risk, but the waiting and watching was important because, I mean, it just waiting was
You're a
just
patient guy. You're a nice, calm, patient guy. Me, I couldn't wait.
Well, there were parts of me that were like, "Hey, what's going on?" Trust me,
Yeah.
like because a song is like your baby. It feels like you gave birth to something, even though I can't. Well, let's not talk about that.
We kind of do
But-
give birth to it.
We give birth to it, yes. But yeah, waiting definitely panned out really well. It continues to.
Now, what's your feeling on the indie? If you're younger, 360, how do you look at it?
So I want to say that I think technology has democratized everything. So
Oh, that's a fact.
going back to Spotify, going back to like intuitive platforms like that, I mean, it allows expression for everyone, right? Whether you're followed by 10 million people or, you know, you're followed by a lot less, you have part of the same resources and access to it. So something funny about me, I started doing this maybe 6 years ago. I grew up playing video games with my friends and also watching friends play video games. So on YouTube, I follow a lot of gamers. And one interesting pattern I noticed, shout out to Kevin LaShawn. I've been watching him for like 4 or 5 years.
Those gamers make money.
So
Good ones make money.
Do they?
Wow, I couldn't believe it. Millions and millions
Oh,
and
yeah.
millions.
So artists like him, he sidechains a lot, right? He's been known for video games, but he's got tons of plays on Spotify. He raps as well.
What's a sidechain?
Sidechain, I guess that's my term of saying like another side hustle or another business, like another
Gig or whatever.
another gig.
Yeah.
So it started with
Cool.
video games, and then he's got merch, then he's got Twitch TV, then he's a rapper too. He's got great music and he produces his own music. So like multiply that times millions of people around the world doing the same thing. I think in a way society wants to get better, right? So we give more people access to things, but that in turn pulls people away from the route of going to a bigger label first. It's easier to get the ball rolling, and I mean, you know, you have access to so much.
Different avenues.
Yeah.
Now, when you compare Spotify to Apple to the other artist ones,
Mm-hmm.
what's the biggest difference as far as that you both prefer Spotify? As do I.
I gotta say, Spotify is 100% software company devoted to music. Apple is a company that's got so many different facets, and music is something they happen to do. Spotify is the kid that woke up when he was 7, said, "I'm going to play baseball," and then played baseball and became a major leaguer.
And still playing
And
baseball.
is still
Yeah.
playing baseball.
and just spent $30 billion to make baseball even cooler.
There you go.
And not change
Boom.
the name. So
Mic drop.
teams-
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
He just dropped the mic.
I
Very
know,
good.
right?
You did.
And the same for you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. No, 100%. I mean, Spotify's just, they're focused on it.
I'm
You know what I
surprised that Apple hasn't taken more of a hit on that, but there's no
It's not-
Steve Jobs. They
You're
don't
too- oh.
innovate.
It's not what they're. Listen, that's not the. It's not where the money is for Apple. You know what I mean? Like Apple goes where the money is for them. You know what I mean? Like they're.
So where do you think they're headed? Because the iPhone 14 looks exactly the same as that. There's no different. The fucking the thing on the top is the same.
I know, but there's a nice little thing about let's make everyone's brand new device a little slow.
Yeah, when they throttled it.
let's
maybe.
let's send them that update.
Yeah, but yet we all have them.
Time for the 14.
Yeah. But
By the way, we just changed the power adapter.
I remember.
again.
I remember reading this thing. So Steve Jobs had put a bunch of people out to make mail for Mac,
Yeah.
right? And he's like, I want it like this, this, this. The day that his team presented the mail app, Google came out with Gmail.
Yeah.
And he went crazy and fired all 400 of them. Said, you ruined mail forever, blah, 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 blah. Now, don't mess up Siri. And what do? They destroyed mail. Haven't updated it since 06, 07. It's like ancient. It's built on DOS. And then Siri, I mean, geez. I
Right.
mean, now it's starting to get a little bit better.
Right.
You gotta give Jobs credit, man.
Well, Jobs was an innovator.
He was.
Cook is a businessman, so he's going with the services
I know.
and that kind of
Yeah.
shit. But I don't know why he's not putting more time into other stuff or whatever.
I don't know.
I tell you what I think Spotify's done differently. So another advantage to being an indie artist is mobility, right? The bigger you are, sometimes it's harder to move and make decisions. Like when you're an indie artist, you have more flexibility. I will say credit to Spotify for being a big company that makes a software so like personable. Because to me, I look at like thumb access. I like to do other things at the same time, but like my thumb's got so much range. I can just tap playlist, boom. I didn't like that song. Add to queue. Like it's all right there. And I mean, I don't think you get that with any other application.
I think it's more, and not just because I'm biased. I think it's just very user friendly. Other than that dumb settings pop up, but
Yeah.
you guys don't have to deal with that. Now, what happened with you and what was the name of it? Love Lock Music Group? Because when I Google your name, that always comes up 1 or 2.
Oh, a good friend of mine.
I think it was tab 3. Or
Wait,
4.
what?
It's the Google
I
search
don't even
one.
know about that.
Yeah, it's
Oh.
number 1. They got
Oh,
somebody
really?
right. Yeah, they got somebody coding very good there.
Yeah, SEO. I mean, it's just a good friend I've known for a long time. I actually haven't done any work with him in years.
I think
Probably
17 maybe.
Yeah,
18?
it's definitely pre-pandemic. I mean, everything's Gucci, but I think, I don't know, they just have good SEO, I guess. I haven't never Googled myself and their name, so that's amazing.
Didn't you? No. Well, did he find it?
You said love. What was it called again?
It's tab 3.
Tab 3.
Yeah, it was just a friend of yours.
Yeah.
And that was it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
indie artist. He's last time, I think he lives up in Port St. Lucie. He's talented, amazing violin player. Does a lot of traveling, and then Lovelock, I think Music Group is his music arm, music business.
So now for you, what is the worst thing that has happened for you as an independent artist? What, like going through it, besides getting it out and pushing it and everything else, what's one of downsides of it that you can think of? That just sticks out that the worst thing that's happened.
Yeah. No, I think, it's funny because I was so happy and excited and everything was going great, my first year and a half, 2 years. And then, because I was so laser focused, I didn't go outside my bubble, right? I think as an indie artist, you kind of conquer your own music, right? And your own new career. And then you start kind of going outside of yourself and you start going out into the music industry and studying and observing and meeting now at the point meeting people in the music industry. And, I think for me, the hardest part, I mean, Bismarck has been there for all of it. Let's just call a spade a spade.
Yeah, this is for both of
Okay.
you.
Yeah,
Like
no, I
the
mean,
question, like
he's
the
been like
worst
the
about it.
best friend, right?
He stuck by your side since I met him.
Dude, so, but, you know, you, as an indie artist, you have your own, we all have our own artists that we look up to and we admire and we are fans of, right? And so I think part of being an indie artist is kind of going out and you start to look at the people that you've always kind of admired in the industry differently, because it's like, oh, I want to learn from them, or I would love to be able to ask this person a question now that I'm in the industry. God, it would mean the world to get their insight or their advice, or even just be able to say hello to them, you know? And it's like the hardest part for me over the past year was realizing that the music industry is not nice. You know what I mean? It's not always a nice industry, right? I mean, listen, any industry, right? But
especially as big as what you guys are in.
Yeah. And I mean, coming from,
you got snakes and competition.
Oh my
and
God, dude.
dirty moves and payoffs to the moon.
Dude, you have no idea. I mean, this record was birthed because I realized a multi-platinum artist that I, always had admired a record for, basically did something horrific to me. And I was like, okay, and that birthed this record, right? I told that story the last time, I think, on our podcast. But anyway, it's, now it's going out and going to meet these people. It's like, as an independent artist, you have to learn to be okay with people that you admire in the industry not liking you or not wanting to meet you or being too busy or not really caring about you because they don't know you. You're to them, you're some newbie.
You're invisible.
You're invisible.
Yeah.
You're invisible. And for me, it was like, what you have to remember as an independent artist, and what I've had to learn, and Bismarck has witnessed me learning, is you have to absorb that and then remind yourself that for every artist that doesn't want to meet you in the music industry, there's always one that will embrace you, right? So it's like this person, this dream collaboration that you would kill to have may not ever happen. And it could be somebody that you've devoted all of your money and time and life supporting. So how could they not like you? Well,
And that's the worst thing. You got off easy, girl.
You know what I mean? Well, I mean, but my point
Most
is,
people either go broke or they're in a box.
yeah, no, but I mean, but I mean, it's, as an artist, you have really high highs and you have really low lows. And when you're in that low and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? I'm going to tell you right now,
when you're in
I
low,
have
it's
had,
I bet.
coming from the Wall Street job and having a father who was one of the top guys at Morgan Stanley.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Yeah, he's into all that. Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Dude, my dad's team was one of the largest teams in the country.
Shout
you know
out
what
to
I mean?
Dad.
Yeah,
How you
but
doing, Dad?
I mean, when I told my dad I was going into music, he was like, wait.
What? Yeah. Well, he knows how he
know?
knows it's a crazy world out there.
Right.
Yeah.
But my point is on those really low lows, I'm like, and of course my parents are like, it's not supporting, you worked your whole career to be in wealth management. What are you doing? Right. And it's like, but my point is I'll give you an example. Like I was at a really low, somebody that I had admired didn't care. They don't care. Right? They could give two shits about me, right? But at the same, like literally on the flip side, Kevin Martin of Candlebox. Do you know who Candlebox is?
Mm-mm.
Okay. This was like back when I was, I don't even know, 14, 15. I don't even think I wasn't even driving yet, because I remember.
This episode is sponsored by Aurora. Do you know what the fastest growing crime in America is? For years, this crime rate has been surging and affecting millions of Americans. I'm talking about identity theft, and there's a new victim every 14 seconds. Yet despite this, those who have had their identity stolen are often shocked when it happens. That's why I'm excited to partner with Aurora, who is sponsoring this video. Aurora is identity theft protection, fraud monitoring, a VPN, password management, and antivirus software all into one easy-to-use app. Their VPN allows you to stay anonymous online by keeping your browsing history and personal information safe and encrypted. Protect you and your family from America's fastest-growing crime. Try Aurora for free for 2 weeks and see if you or anyone in your family's personal information has been compromised. Start your free trial today. Go to aurora.com/MSCS. The link is in the description below.
My friend had to drive us to their concert at the Roxy in Atlanta, and I went to go see Candlebox with friends because they drive
The Roxy, like the Roxy I'm thinking of?
the
That's
Rox-
probably not the Roxy I'm thinking of. Go ahead.
in Atlanta. No, I know. Yeah, no, not that. No.
Go ahead.
No. Anyway, I went to their show, and Kevin Martin, lead singer. It was, honest to God, one of the best concerts I'd ever seen. Right? I mean, still fast forward all these years, right? And that was the concert that literally started my love for music. I mean, I left that concert, and it was like this whole new world opened up for me. And so anyway, fast forward all these years later, I mean, decades later, right? I'm now in music, and I stumble across, I'm like, oh my God, Candlebox. Like, Kevin, you were the guy that started this whole musical composition writing of like he was like, I was like, hey, I'd love to meet you sometime after a show or whatever. And he was like open arms, could not have been more welcoming, was like, hey, yeah, absolutely. Come, hang out with us. Do you want a picture? I'll tell the guys, we'll put you on the, I mean, it was just, and it was like, so you realize, hey, this person may not be interested in meeting you, but this person is. And you know what I mean? It's like the world of music is so big, right? To answer your question, that was my heart. I wasn't prepared for, you just assume that because you have loved an artist for so many years. I mean, think about all these artists that you've loved. This is an artist that I run to every single day. It's like you just assume that they're going to like you or want to meet you, and that's not the case.
Yeah, but you're not.
That's not the case, and
yeah,
I
you're
wasn't
not
prepared
realizing.
for that.
Yeah,
You just have to remember to pick yourself up. You know what I mean?
And also you have to remember that whoever it is that you wanted to meet worked their ass off for 10 years.
Right.
Or 15 or
yeah,
20 while you were 14. And
they're just, their jam is different. You know what I mean?
They're worried about what they got to do. And at that point, they want to get the hell home or whatever they got to do.
or
in and
whatever
out,
they want to do.
Yeah.
And it's like, it is what it is.
What was the toughest for you? Being an independent artist for this long, what was the toughest thing for you? The worst thing? I mean, other than obviously the marketing, everybody knows the marketing part always sucks.
I'll piggyback a little bit off of what Cassie said. That question, what do you do when your heroes fail you? So it's a good test to see if you really love what you're into, because some things can happen and rock your entire world. But what those events, those terrible situations force you to do is to pull from what's on the inside. And it's self-generating, and you just become stronger. You love more. You don't love less. You don't clam up, you open up, right? And you just, you're put yourself out there into the world.
So in other words, when you fail, you never give up. And that's kind of how you know that this is your love in a way. Mm-hmm. And look, this is going to happen. It sucks.
The process makes you.
The process makes you.
That's true. Yeah. You realize your love for music.
Mm-hmm.
You can pick yourself back up. It's crazy.
Yeah, when you fail time and time again, but then keep trying and trying and trying, then to me, I look at that person like they really love this, and eventually something's gonna pop.
Yeah.
Now with you being an independent artist, and then we'll go to you.
Yeah.
How did you build your fan base to where you are performing at the same place where Tory Lanez is? Tory Lanez is, he's pretty big. So how did you build your fan base? As Cassie talks about a lot, that if you can build your own fan base, that changes the whole game.
I would advise every indie artist to work on themselves and their life and personality. There's a great book by John Maxwell called The 360-Degree Leader. And in it, well, actually, no, sorry, wrong book. It's called Talent is Not Enough.
Talent is not enough.
And so that kind of sums it up, right?
And who's it by?
John Maxwell.
The same guy. Okay.
So, case in point, who you are as a person, your character, your love, your kindness to people remember that. And you can be an okay musician or an okay this or that, but those things propel you to the top. So I think consciousness of being kind to everybody at every level, no matter where you are. So it's like if I'm in front of a bartender, I'm going to tip them. I'm going to take care of them. And without even trying, that bartender knows someone else. And they know someone else. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Who knows someone else.
Right.
Who passed your name along
5
years ago and saved Bismarck sax in their phone.
Multiple times I've seen you out, but you were talking to people.
Yeah.
And whoever I was with, I'd be like, that is one of the nicest guys I know. And that relates to what you're saying. And I'm not saying that because you're here. And you know I always run up to you and I say, what's
Yeah,
up,
man. Seriously.
But
even
the
at Tory
two
Lane.
times I know you were doing some business and I'm not going to step in.
Yeah, man. I think it's a
Very nice
consciousness
guy.
of being kind, man. It's effort.
You are. Yeah.
It's effort. And the funny thing is like that 1%, and you see that Einstein did this thing where he went up, he did like a bunch of calculations on the board, right? And at like the 75th calculation, all the other ones were correct, but the last one was wrong. All the kids in the class pointed out the one that was wrong. And the point of it was Einstein's like, hey, I did all these right, but the one time, right? Or that big star that's out there, you were nice to everybody, but you were rude to that one fan. That can bite you in the butt.
I've read a lot of Einstein. A lot of Einstein applies to business,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
in my opinion. Obviously, yours
Yeah.
too.
Yeah. You know what, for me, when it comes to building a fan base, I'll piggyback on what Bismarck said. It's crazy because someone once told me, they're like, Cassie, your music doesn't have to be the best music out there. You know what I mean? Like when I was building a book of clients back in my finance career, right? I got some advice from, a regional director that said, hey, Cassie, you know what? Best advice I can do is give you is build a book of business of people that you enjoy talking to every day, right? And I took that with me. I look at my fan base the same way. It's like, I feel like, and tell me if I'm wrong, I feel like when you look at an artist, you'll notice that, what they sing about or rap about or, the vibe that they give off, that is reflected in the crowd that comes to their shows, right? I mean, it's like your fan base, I feel like, is a reflection of you, right? And so when I think of a fan base, I think of what type of people do I want in those stands standing next to each other looking back at me, right? I want, and I
Want to pay?
Yeah, no, but I mean, honestly,
Puts your cell phones
honest
in
to
a- in a
God,
bag.
I'll never forget it. It's so crazy. I was an actress in LA for a couple of years, way back in the day.
Just real quick, this is way off. I remember you telling me something.
Yeah.
You went to college for bio something, didn't you?
Biosystems engineer. I know.
Believe
I'm
this shit?
such
That is
I'm such a
insane.
nerd, man.
I had to bring that up because
No, I know.
it just popped in my head.
No,
You did
I
a
know.
lot,
I was an
though.
engineer. I was a finance and engineering major. I have lived 9 lives and I'm still living a bunch. I'm like 117.
You're gonna kill me.
Right?
You're gonna kill me.
So
you're gonna kill
it's
me.
all good.
What is a
We just
biosystems
started-
engineer?
Water systems engineering,
Really? Actually,
hydraulics.
I had Elon, speaking of Elon, I had his
Yeah.
partner in Beto, his right hand man, and he went to an island in the middle of nowhere, and somehow he had this thing. I don't know. These rocket scientists come up with these ideas to do like just amazing stuff.
Yeah.
So they had gotten done with the CERN thing to
Yeah.
get to Mars in 7 days, but there's too much matter, so Elon's building a molecule. So while Elon's building a molecule, Beto goes to like the middle of nowhere, like Guam in like the ocean. And I'm trying to get a hold of him. Because when the CERN thing hit the 7-day thing, it was like the last beta test, and he was out faster than, I don't know, very fast. But I got enough out of him. So he took waves and somehow built this thing with waves and currents for free for this island to power an entire island with electric and everything.
Yeah, you can totally do that.
He did it.
Hydropower.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
This rocket science.
I wanted to design
So cool what he did.
fountains back in the day, like commercial. I'm obsessed with
Here's the best part.
fountains.
You ready for this?
Yeah, I still am.
This guy on
It's
his
a
own
hobby.
time goes and does this. He's Elon's right-hand man. He's going to be a part of how you get to fucking Mars and go hang out one day. You know what I mean? He'll be dead by then, but maybe not. But now he goes and does this and helps an island. Somehow, some way, it's in some airspace that's part of the U.S., but part of something else. It's a whole thing. They destroyed it because they said it wasn't green.
I mean, anyway.
Can't put that on YouTube.
Right? No, I know. It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Anyway, as I rudely
Anyway.
interrupted you, I just had to get that
No,
out there
what were
that
we
you're a
talking about?
biosystems engineer, musician,
yeah.
producer,
No,
director,
no.
merchandise seller, independent artist.
I did. By the way,
label.
By the way, I did not go to LA to be an actress. I like to make that.
Oh,
very
I missed
clear.
actress on that list.
Yeah, no. I went to LA. I was in wealth management. I went to an event and I met Nick Curran. It's a long story.
$10
The cat-
says you can't
One of the
say
top
10
casting
things that
directors
she
in
did.
LA. No, he came up to me.
You just went there.
No, I was with like my dad's friends. And he came up to and he was like, "Listen, would you like to come in and read for a role?" Actually, this kind of spins into what I was going to say, so it's fine. It all weaves together. But he said, "Would you like to come in and read for a role?" And I laughed and I said, "No. I don't even know what that means. I'm in wealth management. I'm not an actress." And he's like, "All right." He's like, "Well, if you change your mind, here's my card. You just." And on the way home, so my family friend that was in the car was like, "Wait, no, Cassie. Like, you don't say no to an opportunity like do you know how many girls in this town would die for that?" So anyway, long and short of it.
What'd your dad have to say about that?
Oh God, that was another heart attack I gave my parents when I I had transferred out there with Smith Barney, and I was working in the Citigroup building like on South Flower Street in downtown. And I called
You're
my dad.
stressing this guy out. You're
I
a
know
wealth
my dad. I
management.
was
You're
like- I
a
was like,
biosystems
"Dad,
engineer. You could be an actor."
I was like, "Dad,
you
I
come
can-
home. He's like,
I followed.
"What the fuck are you doing?"
I followed.
Oh, you want to be an independent artist? You had an acting job, wealth
listen,
management,
I
bio
know.
fucking whatever. Oh, let's
my
go
God.
be an independent artist.
I told him. I said, "Dad," I said, I'm following the money. I mean, I got an agent.
Meanwhile, your dad is where?
SAG day rate was.
Your dad's where?
I know,
You're
right?
gonna say you're following the money to your dad.
Anyway.
just messing.
So anyway, but the funny thing is so I had all these like little roles, supporting roles, whatever, and
That's cool.
one of the movies I worked on for about three and a half
I'm afraid
months
to hear what you walked from.
was little. No, my first feature was Little Black Book with Brittany Murphy. So
Are you out of your
to
mind?
I got to work with Brittany Murphy for 3.5 months, and I'm going to tell you right now, so going back to answering your question, I still think about her when I'm approaching this music thing, right? I'm going to tell you right now, Tommy, she was, honest to God, the nicest human being I've ever.
This podcast is brought to you by Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet, Monster Energy. It's the ideal combo of the right ingredients in the right proportion to deliver a big bad buzz that only Monster can. Monster packs a powerful punch, has a smooth, easy drinking flavor. Athletes, musicians, co-eds, road warriors, metalheads, geeks, hipsters, and bikers dig it. You will too. Monster Energy is more than just the green OG. Monster has Monster Ultra, Juice Monster, Monster Hydro, Rehab Monster, Dragon Tea, Monster Max, Muscle Monster, and many more. Buy on Amazon, buy on Walmart, or go to monsterenergy.com and believe me, you'll find a place. Unleash the beast. Monster Energy.
ever met on this planet.
No, I believe you.
She was so kind. She never spoke one bad word about anyone. And I remember every morning I came in and she'd do cartwheels and give everyone morning hugs and this that, and the other. And
Cartwheels.
yeah, on set,
That'll wake
we
you
had
up.
this routine, and I guess
If you're tired, you're like,
no, she was
shit,
so
look at this
cute.
girl.
Like
I forget the coffee.
she
Yeah.
was,
Start doing
she,
Anybody got anything in the bathroom?
she was so cute.
She's doing flips and fucking cartwheels probably at 5 a.m.
She was so cute. Like
I'm
she,
just joking.
craft services had to cut the sandwich, her peanut butter sandwiches diagonally.
Oh,
I mean, like she was.
We have red
she was
M&Ms
so,
too.
She was so sweet.
Red gummy bears,
So
red lollipops.
So anyway, so one day she says to me, we got to talking, and we were all standing around, and we got to talking, and she was like, I said something about got on the subject of kindness, and she's like, she goes, Cassie, I always tell myself, you know what, if people are questioning your kindness, you're doing something right. And I was like, I can still see her saying that to me. Like it's so funny how she's no longer with us. And I have literally carried that one sentence throughout my life. So it's so funny going back to your question, building a fan base. It's like Bismarck will tell you, I get online and I'm searching independent artists. If you're an independent artist, DM me. I will answer you, right? I am talking to strangers and he knows this.
Absolutely.
Like, I'm not bullshitting. Like I don't care if it takes me all night to answer everyone. But I just will randomly be kind to people. You know what I mean? Now, I was telling Bismarck, 90% of the time people like embrace that. They're like, "Oh my God," and they'll follow you. And the next thing you know, like just because you were kind to them, they'll buy your record. They'll be like, "When's your next show? I'll come."
Well, remember, most people are assholes.
Yeah.
They either just ignore you, they just block you, or
they don't give a fuck. They haven't, like, I've had people tell me, "Hey, let me know when your show is, I'll come," and they haven't even fucking listened to my music yet. You know what I mean? It's amazing what kindness will do. Now, on the flip side, this happened today. I haven't even told Bismarck this story yet. So
he's like, "What now?"
Here we go.
Here we go, right, Bismarck?
I told him
Buckle your
I'd save it.
seatbelts.
I told him I'd save it for the podcast.
boy. I have another one.
Actually, it was a couple days ago. So I reached out. So I had, how when you're on Instagram.
No wonder you got this guy with fucking a glass of scotch. Fuck. You might as well take the bottle with you. You got to deal with this shit every day.
There we go.
I'm just joking.
This is funny. You're gonna die. So you know how when you watch
I can't wait to
Instagram
hear this
stories,
Yeah.
and you know how when you see a story that you like and you click on it, and obviously it takes you. So I had seen on somebody that I follow, I had seen a story, and I was like, oh, he's selling Cartier bracelets, right? I always wanted one. I'm like, Cartier, the rule is you have to have somebody else buy it for you.
You know where this is headed. Go ahead.
No, listen. So listen to this. So I clicked on the story, and it takes me to the guy's story, right? So I'm watching his story now. So immediately I'm sitting there in the studio. So immediately I just sent him a DM. I'm like, hey, I'll buy a bracelet. He was like, hey, everybody, buy your, you know what I mean? And I was like, dude, I'll buy one from you. Like being kind, right? His response back to me, this is what, a $5,000 bracelet. His response back to me was, you don't even follow me. I was like, what the fuck? I'm like,
Weird.
I just discovered you, dude.
Probably
Like,
better you didn't.
Yeah.
Bismarck goes.
I would put a
"Fuck
lot
it."
of money on it that after about a week it's going to be green. And you'll spend $5,000 for a green love bracelet.
Dude,
or
I
whatever
was,
you're looking
well, I
for.
mean, I didn't want to say it, but I was like, yo, I just offered to buy a bracelet. I don't even know if it's
Bismarck.
real, but
It's so bad.
but I mean, like,
What he just went to Cartier and bought 70,000 worth of bracelets because they're 8 apiece. I don't think that they were real.
Someone
Just go to
call
wait so you can go walk into Cartier and get it.
I just wonder how his business is doing. Approaching like that.
Not
but
too
I mean,
well.
Not too well.
I
Because
started
she's-
laughing. I started laughing because he's like, but
tell you
going
what's
back to the indie artist thing, he was like, yeah, she probably can't even afford it.
No.
And I was
That's
like,
not what happened.
Yo.
Bismarck, let me tell you what happened. What happened was he knew that she's popular, that she's got a mouth on her, and she's out there, and that he's got fake shit. And if he
Exactly.
sells her a $5,000 fake love bracelet, his little stash that he got from China for $20 a piece is out the window. So he's got to have a reason why not to sell it to you. Now I'm sure Miss Thing over here won't think that, but that's how guys work. And I used to.
I
You would ruin his business model.
and I only know because when I was broke, I had to do it too. That's the way you do it. And then when someone like you comes along, I find a reason not to fucking sell it to you because you're probably going to go to Cartier to get it buffed and it's going to turn metal. And then I have no more capital to sell my fake stuff with. And I'm sued.
Oh, all right.
And the cops are at the
That's
door.
why
Federal
guy
agents, actually,
friends.
on that one.
Yep.
Definitely with Cartier.
Anyway,
So anyway, back to how you build a fan base. that
I
seem
just
to-
be kind to people. You know what I mean?
See, now I've always heard, I haven't done it, but I've done on some websites where you build like an army. You know, some people refer to it as like the Bismarck army, you know, and you go on Reddit, not these other stupid ones like TikTok that mean nothing. And you go on like Reddit and you build an army, you get a bunch of people with the r/Bismarck, the r/Cassie, and you build that army up. And then whenever you post, they're all over it. They're pushing it for you.
Yeah.
You get interns. I got interns for a couple sites like that. Just go to Florida University, get 2 of them. You do it till 5 o'clock in the morning. It's free, and they pass.
You can do that. Yeah. I mean, you know what? I've got a couple people that naturally just do that. You know what I mean? But yeah, you can do, I mean, obviously as an indie artist, whatever you can do to push yourself out there. Right?
Yeah, but you got a lot of independent artists, and you're saying, "Oh, be nice, be nice." There's more to it than that.
No, I mean, there's
because you got a lot of indie out
obviously.
there that might be watching this and trying to take off, and they see that.
Well, it goes back to
that
hustling.
You're hanging with the fucking Tory Lanez. You got Pitbull's original guy that's about to do your song and everything else. So, how do you get that fan base? It's not just being nice. There's a lot more to it than that. If I'm nice and I can start singing,
Well, you gotta. I mean, you have to hustle. You have to know how to ask for it.
how do you ask for it?
You ask people, hey, listen, I would rather you follow my Spotify than follow my Instagram. I say that to people all the time.
Just
I could
anybody
give
that you say.
two shits about Instagram. Like going back to this guy that says, yeah, but you don't even follow me. And I'm sitting here thinking,
He was trying to sell
How-
you a fake Cartier.
I know. But my point is I could give, you know how many people I do business with that don't follow me on Instagram? A shit ton.
But remember
I
the
could give-
situation.
yeah.
If you have Joe Blow who's
Yeah.
making, he's just some guy that wears nut huggers and drinks Budweiser, he's not going to care if you follow because he just wants to have something cool on his wrist. But if you're out there, okay.
Oh my God.
So Bismarck, how else would you build a fan base as an indie artist, other than just getting them to like you? I understand, answer things. That's a big one. I'm sure that like answering all, messages and stuff.
Oh,
like
you
that,
have
that's
to.
huge.
You have to hustle.
Yeah.
Listen, if you hustle, he'll tell you. I mean, what did we count? Like 700 indie artists, I think, started following me over the course of like a week and a half.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
That didn't just
Yeah.
happen to me. I had to reach out to about 5,000 people to get 700 to strike up a conversation with me.
But they're real good 700 probably, or you narrow that down to whatever.
100%. Yeah.
Great.
No, and they're excited to see the record when it comes out. You know what I mean? So it's like,
I'm drilling down this particular
Yeah.
question to both of you because 3 guys I think are monsters, but I think that they're young and they're at that stage where they're around people that are telling them that they're great, and it is good, but they don't have, they're not there answering messages. They're not taking the time. They throw a post up and they just want to go platinum like tomorrow, So that's why I keep drilling down. How do you get a fan base? Okay, you answer messages. You get people to like you. What else?
you've got to pick yourself up. You have to get yourself out there. I don't give a shit how you do it. I don't
How
care.
do you do it?
Like, look, I mean, prime example, LaRussell. How many times have we messaged LaRussell? He has answered me back, answered him back every single time. That man, he's out in his backyard doing shows. Come, you know what I mean? Whether you're hustling like a LaRussell and doing shows in your backyard, or you're, an artist that's, bar hopping to get your band out, right? I mean, there's so many different ways. There's no one right answer, right? My philosophy is you have to fucking be doing everything.
Period.
Period.
That's a good way to put it.
You know what I
Right.
mean? Like, people can ask me, hey, are you posting reels? Are you lining up performances? Are you putting new music out? Are you talking to fans? It's like, are you selling merch? Are you know what I mean? Fuck.
Yeah.
Do it all.
You're getting more.
right?
I was just thinking about it. Yeah.
Yeah,
But yeah.
it's a lot.
it's
You know
all,
what I mean?
right?
It's a lot. But you've got to connect with people. And what happens is when you're a kind person and you do good business, like, you know, there's good business and there's bad business, right? If you do business the right way and you do the right thing by people, shit will happen for you. You know what I mean? People will come to you. They'll think of you. You know, I've gotten 1 or 2 calls where it's like, hey, Cassie, we thought of you. You know, Cumulus.
Yeah.
How I said it. This is the crazy shit that I do.
This is a good story.
You guys ready for this?
Mm-hmm.
This is the crazy shit that I will do. And this goes back to my finance days. When you build a book of business, what do you have to do? You have to cold call, right?
How many cold calls do you do? He's into real estate. He's a Marine and then real estate.
He gets it.
Yeah, he gets it.
He gets it.
I don't cold call much, but I go to I build my book of business with financial advisors.
Yeah.
I do reverse mortgages too. So I'm in the mortgage side in the industry.
Oh my God.
But I do a lot of
like
gospel marketing. So
Oh.
like just kind of have you. I mean, I have to do reels as well too and stuff like that. But gospel marketing, when you that face-to-face interaction, and they get a good visual of who you are as a person.
Yeah.
That face-to-face it's unbeatable.
It's
Like they
crazy.
would want to work with you just like this.
100%.
So
And then the kinder you are in your field, the more likely you are to get a deal, right?
Get the
Yes.
business. I was a financial advisor for 15 years. I was with Morgan Stanley. I worked for Merrill Lynch on the island. I got recruited by JP Morgan. I used to work with guys like you, right?
Yes.
I built my book of business because I mean I went and lived up in New York for
Add that
a
to the
month and a
list.
half. I went up to New York for a month and a half and literally went through Smith Barney training back in the day, where cold call training, where you weren't allowed to put your phone down. You had to literally it was one call after another for
Wolf of Wall
hours.
Street. Wolf of Wall Street.
So anyway, and for real. So I
How many
have
heart attacks have you given your dad?
right.
Fuck, I could think of 5 right there that you just ripped off. Ripped off the top. Morgan Stanley. Oh, that's nothing.
But you know
JP
what?
Morgan, even though Jamie Dimon whacked somebody. Yeah, okay.
Oh my God.
I know his partner.
You take those skills and you apply them to the music industry. It's no different, right?
Yeah.
I sat at my house. Bismarck will tell you. I sat at my house. Everyone's like, hey, come out on the boat. Come do that. I'm like, no, nobody. Everyone leave me alone today. I got on the phone. I can't even tell you how many executives I called over and over and over and over and over again. Finally, Cumulus is like, who the hell is this girl, right? Who is this girl? Somebody call her back.
Because eventually they're just going
I'll
to want
be
you to
that
stop
girl.
calling.
I'll be that
And they're
girl.
going to answer.
I
and
don't
you've
give
got
a fuck.
the one shot.
I will be that girl, right?
How
Because-
important would you say
because-
your first like appearances? You know, when you go on a call, you meet somebody. In your industry, what you guys are in, how important is that first meeting?
It's everything.
It's everything.
It's everything.
It's everything.
Yeah,
It's everything.
across the board with business.
I will be that girl. And you know what? I finally, months later, I got a call back, right?
But you kept calling.
And you know what? It was like, we love your tenacity, right?
Yeah, they're like, you're a maniac. What do you want? And that, you know,
I'm going
and
to tell
that's
you
worse.
now, the CFO is
Yeah.
one of my biggest fans
You
and
must
supporters.
be the 10th person that's told me that. They just
And I'm
blew
going
up.
to tell you right now, it's like, you know what? Listen, that's the kind of thing. It's like, that's what I'm talking about. The hustle, that relationship. I mean, he's been so kind. They've been, you know, they're like, listen, we just want to see this girl succeed because look how hard she's working, right? That, like, you know what I mean? When you work hard and you're kind and you're a good person, it will come to you. You know what I mean? It's not going to come to you from everyone, But that's okay. You know, it's going to weed out the people. And I'm going to tell you, you never forget the people that embrace you and the ones that don't, right? Like, who knows? Bismarck could be a multi-platinum artist next year, right? You think he's going to go invite, you know, somebody that snubbed him to his table?
No.
No.
I don't
It's
think
like
so.
you
Unless they said
remember
sorry, that's
the
why.
people that you remember the people that were kind to you when you were nobody.
With the rubber band.
You never know. You never know with people. So it's like, I don't know. You got to embrace everyone, you know, for who they are.
Yeah.
Now, and because with the saxophone, how different is that being an artist playing saxophone versus like what Cassie's doing? You know, like when you're doing solo,
Right.
okay, and you make a record or whatever you call it nowadays,
Mm-hmm.
an album, is that what it's still called, an album? I don't know.
Record or an album.
Same,
Yeah.
same shit.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. How different is it promotion-wise versus like what say she's not, you know, featured on any of her stuff, and you just have, you know, an album full of really cool sax stuff that's excellent. How do you go about promoting that differently than you would say what Cassie does, or it's the same?
So I want to use like a Thanksgiving meal analogy, right? You got the different elements of Thanksgiving, right? You have turkey, you got stuffing, mashed potatoes, gravy, right? So I am.
I can't give it straight. It's always food. I'm sorry.
Sorry. So
Good analogy though, because
It is a very good
you eat the turkey, you
He
eat the
knows I'm
you put on the Lions game and watch them lose. You know?
This happens every time we do a podcast.
So, yeah. Ultimately, you know, the turkey is such a big part of the meal,
Right.
right?
So what's the turkey in
In the music world,
Yeah.
that's the producer, maybe the backbone of what's going on, right? It's the feature, is what Thanksgiving is known for.
Okay.
It's the foundation.
Now let's stop at the producer because I know you know. So explain from the outside, because you're not a producer, right?
Mm-mm.
What is a producer?
A producer is somebody that could create a track from its foundation. So from my angle, right? So you have a song. It's got different layers to it. It's got a piano. It's got a bass part. All these things are working together into one like track, one beautiful sound, right? And as a soloist, somebody that likes to be featured, I try to find my place in that. And so where the art comes into view is I'm not there to necessarily overshine, but find my place in that to enhance what's already there.
Add to.
So I sell myself like I would sell myself as chocolate cake. Here we go again, more food. All right, so chocolate cake
Always
is
food.
great, but what is chocolate cake without icing?
Sucks.
I'm the icing.
I eat the middle of the Oreo first. Do
There you
you?
go. No, it depends what day. It depends what mood I'm in.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes I like to bite it, and then sometimes like,
But there's nothing better than taking it apart and licking it, right?
yeah, I can take it apart and lick it. It's not bad. It's a good idea.
That's the best part.
That's a good part.
I can't.
But good analogy, really.
It's a very good analogy.
So, like, I mean, if I weave my way back to the turkey, the stuffing, I think stuffing is a big part of what identifies. It may not be the main course, but it typifies a Thanksgiving dinner. So you think Thanksgiving dinner. So as a soloist, a good soloist is, and what I've strove to do as a sax player, my goal is to play a solo on a track that's remembered forever. And I don't have to do too much. I just have to do the right thing, right amount of gravy, the right amount of mixture in my cocktail. That's like, I barely taste the alcohol. You know what I mean? So it's like that's real art. It's like you don't have to scream that you're art. You're just absorbed. Like, wow.
What are the red things we eat during Thanksgiving? Those little
Cranberries.
Cranberries.
Oh, yeah.
So like the cranberries would be like the topper where, okay, you got the turkey, you got the filling, but you need the cranberries too for it to be that one, right?
There you go.
Does that go the same in your genre line?
Yeah. I mean, to piggyback on what he's saying, on this particular record, it didn't have a saxophone on it. I never initially
envisioned it.
Envisioned that. I actually, this record was something I had produced for somebody else, and then I terminated that deal. It whatever. We went our separate ways, and I wasn't going to do anything with the song, but it all started with me just wanting to bring him in on something, right? Because he's a good person. I do business with people that I like.
Forget him being a good person. The guy can crush it on that science.
He can crush it, of course, 100%.
I don't care if he's a
right?
jerk. I'd pay him. You know what I mean? Just,
Obviously.
He's that good.
But my point is I didn't bring him on the record. I brought him on the record for everything, but on the record, it adds. There in the bridge specifically, it just adds like, it catches you. It's just such a cool.
Like you said, he enhances.
He enhances the record. Yeah, absolutely. And it just, it was one of these things where I was like, Bismarck, do your thing, like clean slate. Like I didn't want him to feel boxed in. I didn't bring Bismarck on as a sax player. I brought him on the record as an artist, right? I gave him the autonomy to create his own melody to it.
So now when he does that, does he send you, say, 10 minutes of material and then you cut what you like and then you put that within the track?
So we went into the studio together.
Yeah, an amazing studio.
Awesome. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah. I brought him in this. Actually, we went into this studio. We went into 2 different studios.
We did.
We went into 2 different studios. Shout out to Criteria though. They're my favorite. But we went down there because I just I wanted him to be on like the best mic, and we used my favorite microphone that I'm saving for them.
What's your favorite microphone?
The vintage
I just got
Telefunken.
goosebumps.
Yeah, the Telefunken U47. Vintage though.
The vintage one.
Yeah, the original vintage. That's what Frank Sinatra sang on.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Man, that's forever.
It
Frank
has
Sinatra, that man's
the
forever.
warmest sound.
He could
beautiful.
do it no matter what he did. It does.
It's beautiful. Yeah. So you know what I mean. But we went into the studio, and then I mean, he'll tell you, we let it run, and I don't even know how many takes we did, and I just said, Bismarck, do your thing, whatever you want to do with it. And then obviously I took it back and I edit it. I do all the edits, right? So I picked, his best parts, and kind of placed it where I envision it in being the most powerful, I guess, in the song. So
where it would enhance it the most, right?
Yeah.
Now, what's the difference between an engineer and a producer? Sounds the same to me.
Yeah, I mean,
Engineers kind of refine the process. They're technicalists in the process of, I guess you could say, getting a song out or getting a song ready to, be released.
Like, does the engineer handle the sonic, like in the ear? Is that the engineer?
Well, I was going to say I can answer that for you. So, I mean, the producer is creating the beat, right? The music, right? That's creating the song. And then the producer, when they're done doing what they're creating the song, have you ever heard somebody like produce something in their bedroom?
Yeah.
And then put it out and you're like, God, that sounds like shit. Right?
Well, a
when
lot
you
of times,
hear quality.
Right. So like I listen to Chris Brown a lot. So a lot of his songs that aren't like
Brown's awesome.
He's the best.
Christopher's the best.
He's my favorite.
I call him Christopher. I know. I just decided one day he was going to be Christopher. I don't know. Maybe he'll listen.
Did he get the Breezy album?
Oh my God, Chris.
There isn't one bad song.
He's an amazing
I just went
performer
song.
too.
Oh, he was unbelievable. I was from here me to you.
Oh my
He's
God.
my favorite. He knows it.
He went on tour
Oh,
too with Lil Baby.
Yeah, that's what I was at. I was at. Yeah,
nice.
I was from me to her from him.
Lil Baby's a nice guy. Both of those guys are so nice.
The last time I went, I got front
really
row
nice
seats,
dudes.
and I had a fucking stage in front of me.
Actually,
That's what sucks. When you go on these big tours, you guys,
Yeah.
I had front
know.
row seats in LA, but the stage was up so high.
Yeah.
Even though I was front row, I'm looking at a stage.
I've been there.
That
I
sucks.
know that feeling.
Breezy's the best.
I know Breezy is awesome. But
You said
but-
Breezy around me. I brought that up.
no, but the engineer. So the producer makes the music.
Cassie's.
The
I'm sorry.
yeah,
So
go
what I
ahead.
meant was, Brown will put out a lot of songs. 'Cause
Yeah.
He's got like hard drives and hard drives of
Yeah.
songs. So he'll throw them out just
Yeah.
on YouTube for the fans, and you can
Yeah.
tell they're not mixed.
Yeah.
And then when one goes, 30, 40 million views or whatever, then eventually you'll hear it as a single or an album, and then it's,
It sounds amazing. 'cause
amazing.
It's been mixed. The engineers get their handle on it.
Perfect.
The engineers go in. The engineers are adjusting things like frequencies,
The sonic,
EQs,
left, right.
exact, all of that,
That's the
right?
engineer.
Compression. When you
Interesting.
when you take a song, right? Sound waves are like this, up
You
and
can see
down
the
and up
spike.
and down.
And if like you hit the yellow, you went too high, right?
Right, exactly. But if what an engineer does, and like, let's say I make a song, I can't just throw it out into the world the way it is, because because of this, it's gonna sound different on a phone versus a computer versus good speakers versus shitty speakers. Depending on the speaker quality, the speaker's not going to catch maybe all the highs or all the lows. Right. So what an engineer does is they'll go in and they put that through compression. So they're going to compress those sound waves down so it looks like this, so that when you listen to it on all devices, you're hearing everything that you're supposed to be hearing. Does that make sense? So engineers
absolutely.
are critical.
Wow, I didn't realize
And
that.
engineers have to have good ears for that. You know what I mean? Like,
Okay, so tell me if I have this right. So the producer will record you, the beat, everything.
Make
so
the beat, yeah.
It's done.
Yeah.
Now the engineer takes it and he makes it crisp.
that's
To make it
exactly
simple.
correct. Yeah,
Then it's done, and then it comes up to marketing, however you're going to do
exactly. And then it goes through mixing first. Your mix engineer, like a Lou Diaz,
it. Okay.
mix engineer, and then it goes and gets mastered. And mastered is like the final polish. You have to make sure that it's got the quality that radio needs it to have, right? Radio's not going to play a song if it doesn't sound good, right?
So can you break down the mixing and then the mastering? Is it always the same engineer, or there's two engineers?
Sometimes it is, sometimes it's two. I used to so Lou,
You got
like,
better have a bank
Lou will
account.
tell you Lou doesn't master. Lou mixes. That's he's known for that.
See, now I like that because he knows his strength.
Yeah.
And he doesn't try to be like, oh, well, let me do this too. He knows he's a beast at the damn
Lou's
mixing.
a beast with low ends too.
And he's a beast with his mind because he's strong-minded enough to know that this is my lane and I'm a monster.
Exactly.
Don't try to go
Yeah.
outside of the box. This is
Yeah.
why, and that's why he's.
Yeah.
He's the one that
It's gotta be in the
introduced
top.
me to Mike, because I
I know who
asked
you're
him.
talking. Bobby texted him back. I know who you're talking about. This is
Okay.
a different. You know who the other one is, but the one I was referring to, and that guy's a beast.
Yeah.
The one you have. Congratulations.
Yeah, no, Lou's amazing. He's mixed, he'll mix all my stuff going forward. When I first entered the music industry, I hadn't met him yet. Lou is a relationship that I developed, right, through meeting people and talking to people and working with people, right? It's like you go through these experiences and you come across these relationships, and that's why time is valuable. Like with this record, I was like, Bismarck, you know what? If we put this record out right now, it's going to sit just like this other music. No. Like, this is a record I'm releasing the right way, right? And you can't rush something, you know what I mean? And thank God I didn't, because it's just,
And have you dealt with a master engineer, a mixer engineer?
I would say through different processes of other little projects I worked on, but
Not as much as like Cassie would, right?
well, no, I think if you're doing it right, you're going to. That's part of the process, You want specialists at every part. It's like building a house. Like, everyone does not do the same thing when you're building a house, right? And then eventually specialization is the word. It's the key. Lou Diaz is
He's the specialist
the ace
at
at this level of this
mixing.
phase of what needs to be done.
Okay, now break down the mastering engineering to me.
Mastering, I think a lot of it has to do with, levels of where everything is. I'll give you an example. Like a master engineer, when you do a collection of songs on an album, that's where I find a good master engineer is real valuable, right? Mix engineer is going to go in and make sure each individual song sounds crisp and clean and good, right? The master engineer goes through and makes sure that every song, as when it goes from song to song to song to song to song, each song is at the same level, right? You don't want to be listening to one song and then get to song 2 and have it be kind of quiet. And, the master engineer, and then a lot of times your master engineer will, is part of that production of making sure elements of each song exist in each of the songs, right? They kind of marry all of those songs together
smoothly,
so that when you drop an album, it's like one collective piece of work, right?
Gotcha. So master engineer makes it smooth, mixer mixes all the sounds and everything a little bit better than the producer, and, and that's the phase. That's a lot of shit.
It's a lot.
It's a lot of shit. I mean, I'm my guy in Atlanta that I was working with who passed away on our way to 11. We were on our way to a G-Eazy concert, and I lost. No, it's okay.
I know you love G-Eazy.
It was a no. It was a.
He's single now. He's
I,
single now.
I don't know about his dating status. I just we were so I lost Cosmo on.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it's okay. It was so hard for me. It was that was a horrible night. I have had a lot of horrible nights. Anyway, but he did both. He mixed and mastered. He was a very talented guy. Obviously not at the level of a Lou and a Mike, but he was very good at what he did. And that's who I used before I met Lou. You know what I mean? So.
Now, in your genre, right? I never hear much about drugs. Is there a lot of drugs in your genre of music?
I wouldn't even call it genre. I would just say amongst musicians.
I
mean,
because you have alternative guys in, they're happy to be alive right now.
Right.
You have rapper guys in, they like, they're creative or whatever. But in like sax, I don't want to call it sax, just in your line, do you see that a lot?
I mean, I think it's a lot of it's out there. It depends on where you are, right? If it's a party, I mean, there's a lot going down. But, your decision, as to how much of it you want to take part of is up to you. There's you want to as an artist, you want to maintain clarity as much as possible.
What I mean is, like, do you know other saxophone players that overdosed? Were in the hospital, died, things like that you see in other areas?
I'll say this. I can't say it personally. I know sax players, but not a whole lot, right? I get my musical, inspiration from a lot of different people. I will say, like, if you look at some of the golden era of saxophone, Charlie Parker, Dexter Gordon, if you really do your research, really get into it, there was a lot of drug use going on in that time. Even though, like, they want to paint the picture of it being rosy and, like, happy land, here, I got my shirt tucked in my tie.
That's
Let's
why
go.
I asked you. Yeah, that's why I was really curious to know.
So it turns out, I think heroin was big back in those times. Charlie Parker overdosed on heroin. Like, a lot of sax players, like, from this golden, supposedly clean era of time that just looks so happy, Christmas time around the fire, these guys are doing things that you wouldn't expect. But they don't, like, history books don't really highlight drug use in that time. So it's not an association, right?
Well, the government wasn't making money off of it, so. Well, actually, the early 60s. What did Reeves say? What did he show me? Actually, they were. Yeah, late 60s and the 70s. Arkansas happened to be 50,000 a load for some reason. Don't know why.
Oh, my gosh.
And Texas. Do you see a lot of it? In all the people that you run into, do you see a lot with your genre?
As far as what with?
Like, the drugs being heavily used or a lot of drug use, stuff like that.
I mean, listen, it has nothing to do with the music industry. It's like you see that stuff in all
I disagree with
aspects of
that.
life. Really?
Yeah, because a lot of musicians and comedians, they'll have a drink or they'll have a line or whatever it may be, and then they go out and they have this great performance.
Mm-hmm.
Then the next time they have a drink, same thing. Then that one drink isn't enough. Now they need 2 or 2 lines.
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, they feel like they have to do it to be able to perform.
I think a lot of it, listen, it's not...
Like people that would never do drugs.
It's not, it's not an easy career. This industry is you have to be able to endure like night after night after night after night. You know what I mean? And a lot of that I think is conditioning yourself. I love that. Some people, that would drive some people crazy. For me, I'm obsessed with work, and I work all night, and I can go like,
Yeah.
and I don't need substances. Like I can do it naturally. He'll tell you like I don't need sleep, right? Like let's go, right?
Yeah, a lot of people are like that.
A lot of people are like that, but some people aren't, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they become dependent. It's like, because it's like, well, shit, we're performing in Boston tonight, and we have to be in London tomorrow, and then Portugal the next day. And it's like, fuck, how do we stay? You know what I mean? I can see it. I can see how people fall. And it's a sad thing to see.
It is. We lost a lot of good people.
It's a sad vortex, you know what I mean? And it's like, I was talking to a friend, who is a really, really big DJ. Really big DJ. And I was like, he's like, dude, this lifestyle, man. He's like, because it just, it's a,
it weighs on you.
It's a lifestyle. It's like for me, people always confuse. They're like, oh, Cassie, so you DJ? We get that a lot. Like, oh, you're a music.
Yeah.
You probably
They see
get
you
it
out.
too.
People think I'm a DJ.
Yeah, they're like, oh, do you DJ? And I'm like, no. Like, I'm a producer. People don't understand the difference, right? I'm a producer. For me, it's like I have zero interest in ever DJing. Like I've thought about, oh, would I like that art? Because it's different art, right? And I'm like, no. Like, it's so funny because I'm obsessed with music and I'm obsessed with making music. You would think I would be obsessed with spinning music. I don't. Like, I like to DJ, like, pick music at the party. But at the end of the day, I'm like, no, man, I want to be dancing in front of the DJ. I want to be able to leave the club when I fucking want to leave the club. I want to be able to go to the club when I fucking want to go to the club. Yeah. I want to be able to enjoy the fucking party. I don't want to be standing there working the party.
Right.
Like,
and then, God forbid, you're good. You're there 5 days a week.
You're there 5 days a week, and I know that it's like it, and it's a fucking lifestyle, man. It's like you're DJ, and it's like. And I mean, that's what you have to do. Like, once you fall into that, it's like that's how you make your money.
You got to say to yourself, this is the life I've chosen. You got to accept it.
Yeah. Like, okay, I'm just going to DJ. Right.
Life
And it's
I've
like, it takes away, like it throws you on a whole different schedule, I feel like. And then it's like, I don't know, man. It's just not a lifestyle that I want. Right. I forget what the question was.
It was just about drugs, but
drugs, yeah.
And going back to you, I would think in the indie field, I would imagine that the drug use would be extremely much lower than someone that's signed to a label, because if you're independent, you're extremely hungry.
Yeah,
I would think.
Yeah.
If you're really taking it seriously, you're hungry as
well, and you're
be.
investing your own money.
Investing your own money.
So you don't have the. I mean, it's like you can put your money in music or you can put your money in drugs.
Right. So you can risk all that money you spent being an independent artist, paying for yourself,
right,
and go do whatever. And next thing you know, who knows? It's all over.
Yeah.
Or you say, let me get big where I can go fuck up and I'll still get another record deal. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, listen, it goes back to. Like I said, it goes back to getting that big deal. But what people don't realize is there are millions and millions and millions of artists. Mm-hmm. Like most 99% of the artists out there don't get the option of getting a deal. Like, it's very easy to be like, oh, why don't you just go with a major label? It's like, no, why don't you just go with a major label?
Got him.
You know what I mean?
See, I told you I had an open mind. So
no, it's
my
okay.
opinion is now changed.
Okay.
My opinion is slightly changed.
When you get your deal, I'll go get a deal. Okay? You pave the way, blaze the trail.
So I would like to retract my statement.
Let's go.
I'd like to retract my statement, and I think that if you can get in front of a label, that you should take that 360 for a year or two and then go independent.
I mean, yeah.
If you can't. Go to Cassie.
Yeah, but here's the deal.
That's what I'm serious.
Here's
And
the
that's
deal.
my-
What are the chances of them saying a year or two?
I've been thinking that too. 1 to 2 years is generous.
I was about
Lawyer.
to say, man,
Yeah,
I've
you need to
never
go on.
even heard of 1 or 2 years. Now, hopefully there's some big names out there that'll tell me differently.
Mike Giletti,
But
lawyer.
it's more like 5 years, 7 or 10. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you just got to get a lawyer that can negotiate. You know what I mean? And you might not get that
you
universal
do, but-
label or whatever.
Yeah, but you think? I mean, listen, these labels have their own legal team too, and their legal teams are pretty strong.
Even if it's 3 years. Even if I wouldn't go fat. I wouldn't go more than 3.
I mean,
but-
when you get that 3-year deal, you
Yeah.
you come and tell me.
All
okay?
right.
You tell me how good it is,
Again,
and then I'll go get
Again,
one.
this is a guy sitting over here who does not talk to labels, who cannot sing to save his life. I can dance though.
I'm gonna get my deal when Tommy gets his.
So,
okay,
don't
EK,
listen to
hold him
anything I'm
that.
fucking saying.
Hold him to that.
You know, what do I know?
I'll hold Tommy to it.
I'm just taking.
There you
I'm
go.
just interested.
I'll
I'm
fucking kill you.
I'm
get signed
truly
to-
interested.
If you get signed to a label, I'll kill my indie artist deal. We'll pull the record down.
Listen.
There you go.
Listen to me. Ooh-wee. Yeah. Okay. Fine. You sing or you sing. I don't know if you can sing, and I'll say it's me. And it's my high pitched vocals, like Usher did in one of those albums where he was real high pitched. Remember? You know what I'm talking? I know you know what I'm talking about. You know, remember that one album was real high pitched.
I love Usher.
It was good though, but remember it was really high pitched, like it was all like really
I don't
high. I
remember.
don't know.
Usher's amazing. I'm gonna tell you,
Okay.
his son went to preschool with my daughter. Like he is the nicest.
You have the craziest life.
Yeah,
to that.
no,
I remember that one from the last. Wasn't he like your
It's all
neighbor, or they walked your dog or some
yeah,
shit?
No, he wasn't. No, but he was my neighbor. He was my neighbor. In
I know you had a dog.
Roswell, Georgia.
Did he have a dog?
Usher.
Did
We
you
gotta
have a
get
dog?
Usher.
Did you have a dog?
I don't know if he had a dog.
No, did you have a dog?
Usher and I aren't friends. We're not friends, but we did meet once. Yeah,
That's pretty
we did.
cool.
We did meet. We did meet at preschool. Yes, we did. He used to go to Donuts for Dads. He's a good guy. He's a good dude.
I never heard one bad thing about him.
No, he's a good guy.
I won. So okay, so that's my new opinion. But then again, I'm not the artist, so I don't know. I'm just throwing things together and I'm interested. I'm interested to know. So now you do the independent, you go to a label, you start all this. How's all that going, and what's your part in it? Are you part of it, or just kind of guiding, or how's the whole more label setup thing going?
So right now, More Music is very new, right? Bismarck and I have discussed like what he's interested in doing. Like I think, taking his own piece, right? And kind of running with, we've talked about building some things together, but the reality is I can't put the cart before the horse. You know what I mean? So I have no investors in my label. I have self-funded everything. And my IP, my trademarks, my everything, right? So my music, the videos, all of that, right? So the reality is we're just not at the point where it makes sense for me to pay him enough to do what he, you know what I mean?
Yeah, it has to make sense.
Yeah. But I mean, I think we've talked about like we have some really
Good things take time.
we
Yeah,
have
with
some
everything.
really good things in the work. We have some huge fucking things. I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. We have some really big things in the works. Bismarck and I have one thing we do. We have a lot of really good friends that can help make shit happen very fast. So
Well, that's all you need. You need
we're very
friends
we're very
in the right
blessed.
places, right?
We're very blessed with that.
I want to
And-
say Frank Sinatra sung this song called "What a Difference a Day Makes." I always think of that phrase in anything, right?
Yeah.
With the right people and the right setup,
Sure.
you can be laboring for years, right? But then there's this moment, there's a call, there's a text,
That's how it always happens.
Dude,
It always happens, at least for me. It
Yeah.
always happens like this.
It's
It's like
so-
shit just isn't moving. It's like, what the fuck? And then out of nowhere,
Yes.
boom, everything just changes overnight.
It's so funny. So a multi-platinum artist that I have been, messaging. I really like have admired her for years, right? And I've been DMing her on Instagram for 7 years.
All right, let's take it back.
7 years.
How many
Long
times? How
before-
many times do you think she DM'd? How many messages do you think in 7 years? I don't even know what was DM. What is that? Is that
No,
just
it's
Instagram?
like commenting. Oh yeah, Instagram, like commenting on her stories, commenting,
How many things?
sending her messages. And I'm going to tell you something. 7 years later, now that I'm in music, I don't know, we could count, but now that I'm in music, she replied. And she's like, oh my God, I just realized you've been messaging me all these. So I'm going to tell you, my point is
Persistence.
people will be able to go, wow, you were, you know what I mean? And it makes the connection so much stronger. You know what I mean?
How many do you think?
Definitely over 100. I mean,
100.
No.
I'm gonna say. I was gonna go
No,
into
it
the
wasn't.
thousands.
No.
All right.
But
7 years, I would have done.
No, hell no, not that many. No, it's
What's
been,
the number? What's
So
the
it's
number?
like-
Tell me the
it's
number.
It's been, I don't know.
What,
It's
around
probably
25?
been like 14 or
Oh,
15.
14.
Yeah, it's been like 14 or 15. But I mean, like, I'll send her, you know what I mean? Like, when she drops a new album, it's like, you know, listen, like a very detailed of, hey, this, you know what I mean? Like, when I send someone, when I take, listen, all of our time is valuable, right? Including my own. Right? When I take my time to write someone, it means something to me. You know, I don't just write nonsense, and I try to make it personal.
Yeah, I like
Bismarck will
that.
tell you.
That's why I like Tupac. Tupac's my favorite rapper ever, and Chris Brown's my favorite ever of all time because of the lyrics.
Yeah.
Not only just the music.
Yeah.
Every song of his is a story. Every
is.
single one.
It is.
And that's why I like. And Pac was like that too.
No, I know. They're both brilliant artists.
When you make a video, like when you're doing those yacht ones that I was falling over, you know, because I was just thinking, boy, he falls from that yacht. What do you use, a drone and then it's cut up, or how does that work with videos like that?
So the particular yacht shoot was very, very interesting what happened that day. I remember we got up at like 4. I got up at like 4:30. I was excited. I think I still went out the last night. I might have. But anyway, I was pumped. I got there, and then I had a friend of mine that I told him to come along and bring your drone, bring your camera. I showed up, and someone else had brought someone too. So I ended up getting footage from 2 different people, you know. So that, you know, he's just really talented. So that one yacht shoot, I guess you could call it a music promo. I wouldn't call it a music video, but more of a promo for one song that was a couple years back. So that kind of came together very organically in the most probably pretty interesting way. Like all the players that day, the people who showed up, I sent out a bunch of texts like, "Hey, you wanna come?" And then someone else invited a lot of girls, and then I invited girls, and then we were all there, you know. And the other drone guy came up from Miami.
Oh.
There's a lot of like weird last minute Avenger Assemble.
So it was like, it was one of those days.
It was one of those days. And then like that was crazy because we didn't even, like the best shoot, like the best moments came from like moments I wasn't expecting. Like we were planning to go out to the ocean, get a certain angle and all this, but some of the best shots came for when we just started, and you know, it ended up working out really well. And it's having a good editor to kind of wheel it all together makes everything too.
When you do something like that and you kind of have in your head what you're going to do, right? You know, sax, everything else, you know, the tunes you're going to play, whatever, and then it switches. They want something else or for whatever reason. Is that really hard to make that adjustment on spot?
I respectfully, I want to say that I had total say over everything that happened pretty much that day. It was a unique collaboration.
I mean, in general, not necessarily just that day, just in general, yeah.
I'm proud to say it doesn't start out this way, but when you're hired or when you're invited, I would rather say, to collaborate on something, they want whatever you want to do. It's not the way it starts, right? Sometimes when you start out, it's like, okay, I've got ABC, like I need you to play these songs, you need to play that, and that's it, and then you're done. Like, but being appreciated as an artist, as someone who can contribute like part of you, you know, is important. So like those are the kind of things that are happening now, which I'm grateful for. You know,
where they're kind of just saying, "Hey, Biz, do your thing.
You're here, and that's what we want."
Who was the guy at the Wheels, Wings, and Fashion? that was working with you, he had a lot of energy.
Oh, probably Wayne.
He was good. Yeah.
Wayne is
the trombone.
Yeah.
Trombone?
Yeah, Wayne. Mr.
Oh,
Perry,
God,
Mr. Trombone.
Yeah.
I love him. He's
Those
the
two-
nicest dude too.
Those two
He's
rock
so
the house.
great.
You got a lot of energy, boy.
It's funny you mentioned him. I was thinking about him earlier in this podcast.
Yeah.
He's the one that got me to upgrade my Spotify membership premium about like 8 years ago.
Did he really?
Yep.
So he
I
knew
was
what
a
was coming
commercial guy.
somehow.
I was that
The
guy
fact
that's
that you
like,
can remember that is just so impressive.
he's like, yeah, invest in it. I used to be that guy, like you hear the music, boom, boom, buy towels. Like the commercial just it comes in. It's like,
Yeah,
when
can't you
when
do the thing? What's the thing that Boys to Men used to do? The one with the heavy voice. You know what I'm talking about?
yeah.
He was a monster. What's that
Yes.
called when you could?
Oh, beatboxing.
Beatboxing.
You could do that, can't
Yeah.
I mean, not
you? You did
really.
it. You
You just did it.
That was a
didn't-
simulation.
give me a little some beatbox.
Yeah.
Now
Bismarck, you did it
my
before.
mouth's not going to work because I'm thinking about it.
It will work. Have
More-
a
more-
drink. It'll work.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. Well, okay. But yeah.
Beatbox. Beatbox.
Fine.
You ain't gonna get out of it.
You. I'm not.
I won't be one of those.
Damn.
B on the beat, C in the seat, E in the seat, T in the seat. You think I'll get a label deal? You
There
think
it
I'll
is.
get signed?
There it is.
You think a label's gonna come for me?
I don't
I'm
know.
gonna lose that
Someone-
fucking
Someone's
bet.
calling you. Where's your phone?
I
Where's
don't
your
know.
phone?
They're definitely not calling for a label deal. That's for damn sure. Maybe for him for his beatbox.
we gotta get him. We gotta get him before someone else does.
Now your music videos.
Yeah.
How are they done? What's the process with that?
Yeah. I like to kind of create. I'm kind of a nerd with like this kind of stuff, but I lay out a storyboard.
Oh Christ. Oh boy.
I don't even know if I should admit that.
I understand the scotch.
Wait.
I really do.
If you're going to a chalkboard after this, take that with you.
I get this from. So I don't even want to say it. I wrote a children's book.
That's number 19.
toy-
That's yeah.
I have
Career
a
19.
I have a toy company.
Oh, and a toy company. Now we're at 20.
liquidated. But anyway,
That you
my
liquidated.
point is I've got a story. We liquidated.
One day we're
that.
gonna have to go
We
to
liquidated
Bismarck, all our different jobs, and see what the hell they
That's
are.
another episode.
Dude, it's not. You know
We'll be here all
what?
night.
You know what though? But the toy company was a hobby. All of these were all hobbies. You have to remember, my career was in wealth management for over 15 years, right? So I mean, I was at one firm for over a decade, right? Like
I'm impressed. I'm
no,
not
I'm
like,
just saying.
you know, I'm like, damn.
It sounds like I'm like all over the place. No.
No,
Like
I'm like, damn.
I have my fucking ducks in a row. I swear to God.
Yeah.
But no, I lay out a storyboard for, kind of the different scenes and what I want.
I can't knock him. My best engineer who got me the job with the Breakers, I offered him AutoCAD 100 million times, and he wanted that damn pencil and paper and the octagon, like that little circle thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd see him in the office for hours, and I'd be
Are you
like,
serious?
yeah, I'd be like,
That's funny.
Jorge, look, bro, we could do this all on a computer. No, I don't trust that technology. He built Miami University. He was a structural engineer for Miami University. Got him on Craigslist. He used to work 10-hour days, building stuff. He retired. Well, his wife and him, they're not used to being together, all day and all night.
yeah.
So I would go on Craigslist and look for older guys that had good portfolios. And I just thought in the back of my head, if this guy's that good, he probably worked 10, 12-hour days. Now he's at home with his wife all day, and she's at home with him.
Yeah.
Now they're really getting to know each other.
Mm-hmm.
He probably wants out a little bit once in a while. and it worked out great. But no, it really did. They were all, everybody but one guy
So
was
funny.
retired.
Right. That's crazy.
And the wife couldn't wait for him to go. She one time he'd come in, or one of them would come in, and I haven't got a lunch packed in 20 years.
Oh
She
my
had the
God,
fucking
that's
lunch
crazy.
packed the day before.
Oh my God.
Honestly, I'm not playing around. It's
That's
funny.
too funny.
But going back to what you were saying, he was the best, and he was the only one that could fix that Italian restaurant over there. The column, the thing was falling,
Yeah.
and he
that's
spent
crazy.
months with that damn thing. And I'm like, bro, we got other jobs. No, I'm almost done. Yeah, you're almost done. You've been almost done for 3 months.
Oh my God. I'm
Well,
not.
I'm getting
not
billed,
like
you
that.
fucker.
I work fast. That's the other thing. Like I do a lot, but I like to make shit happen fast. Bismarck will tell you. Like I don't like shortest.
His eyes
time
just went
from-
into his eyes
from
just went.
A to
You
B.
said fast, and his eyes just went back here.
Well, like I mean, I set goals for myself with music, and I've hit them so far. You know what I mean? Like
Is she
I'm like,
fast?
Yeah.
Oh, I was a week. Yeah.
okay. Apart from releasing this, but my point
Well,
is
that's
like
the biggest fucking part.
my
I'm just joking.
my Spotify, I was like, I want to hit 100,000 streams by X, and I did it.
Listen,
right?
your numbers
I want to hit.
skyrocketing
I'm
last
hitting
time I
my.
saw it.
I'm hitting my numbers. Like I'm
happy
hitting my
for you.
fans. You know what I mean? Like I just, I'm strategic about things. Here's the other thing. I'm not going to dump a bunch of money into a record that's just going to sit, right? So I'm going to build the environment around it that is going to allow me the biggest bang for my buck.
Right, because all the capital that you put in.
It's very easy when you're not
Yeah.
investing your own money to be like, hey, why can't we drop there? It's like, well,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, you
It's
know I'm
not
just-
your investment, right? It's
You know I'm
it's-
just joking.
Yeah. No. It's fine. But it's I think with like with working, I just like to work fast. But with a video, I'll do a storyboard in like a day, right? But there's a group down in Miami that I work with on production, and Oscar's amazing. We planned that whole video. We did the song in a day, literally. The whole song was done in a day, and then it was mixed by Lou, in a couple days and mastered, whatever. We planned that whole video and shot the whole video in a week. I mean, it was crazy. You know what I mean?
Now, with the video and even the recording, everyone's always still using Mac, right? I have yet to see anyone that uses a Windows as a producer or engineer. Have you?
I was, what's funny is I was years ago, I was anti-Apple.
I threw it
right?
out the window.
Isn't that funny? I was like, I'll buy Apple stock all day long because I knew what they were doing to their customers. I was like, I know they're going to change the adapters. I know they're going to do all of this to hit the stock. I'm like, listen, I'm going to buy their stock all day. I've had their stock for years, right?
Lucky
Who doesn't, right? Yeah.
Me.
Stock is fucking
An idiot.
killing it. The stock
An
is
idiot
killing
sitting
it.
over here.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? But and that's been invested. But the it got to a point where it was like, fuck, you have to. You have to.
You have to.
You guys did the same thing, right? It's
I liked BlackBerry because I was always into business of some way,
Yeah,
and I liked
yeah.
that feeling of a keyboard. And before that, I liked the two-way Nextel. Remember those? You could
Yeah.
go. That was the
Yeah.
shit if you had the two-way.
Yeah.
And then I went and got an iPhone. I'm like, this is a pain in my. I literally rolled down the window and just threw it out the window.
Second to get used to Mac.
And then my friend talked me into Samsung, and that one I was like, no
Yeah.
way.
Yeah.
This is retarded. Took it back. And then, like you said, eventually you got to deal with the iPhone and,
I will tell you from a production.
but the Mac is, there's nothing better.
I'll tell you from a production standpoint. I'll never forget watching a video of Pharrell producing. Pharrell is my idol. He's my idol, right? He filmed himself. I think he was. I forget. He was like walking. He filmed himself for the whole afternoon producing a song on his laptop, right? And I was like, shit. I was like, you can do that. I'm gonna tell you right now, like. Obviously, I always have to have like the newest laptop. You know what I mean? Because I do a lot. I need the processing, right? Because when you run Pro Tools,
Yeah, but with this, you need that M1 Max chip with 64 gigabytes of RAM. Or
you
forget
guys
it.
the same.
You have to.
You have to.
You have
so
to.
you guys get
Yeah.
it.
And the 64 cores, whatever the fuck, there's 30.
But I mean, what they do now, what they manufacture, I mean, for what we do on the production side is fucking phenomenal. I mean, I give Apple that. Like,
Are you guys using Final Cut or Adobe or DaVinci? Do you know what they're using to edit?
what do you mean?
So, like when you do like a music video, right? And there's layers, like you were talking about. Like,
Oh, I don't know what Oscar does. Yeah, I don't edit my videos. I was talking about producing the music.
I was just curious what they edited with.
I don't know. I'd have to ask him.
Seems to be a
what he does.
lot, mostly with the music videos, Adobe.
Oh,
Adobe
really?
Premiere. Yeah, Final Cut was really good, but it's just they fucked it up.
Oh, did they?
Yeah. It used to be fat with that M1 Max chip and all that RAM. You used to be able to just throw it in there and you could do, 50, 60 gigabytes and it would share in 10 minutes. Then they did update to the Ventura, which is the new one. And now it might as well be Intel.
Right.
Before that, it smoked it. There was nothing couldn't even Intel. If you had an Intel with 200 gigabytes of RAM, 9 million cores, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
That M1 Max would destroy it.
Got it.
But then they played with the Final Cut Pro because they were trying to compete with Adobe Premiere. And then DaVinci came out with an editing one. Lou would know all about this, technical stuff. And DaVinci is made by Blackmagic. So most things that are edited, Blackmagic is somewhere in there because it's expensive. They know that they're good, so they'll send you a $10,000 system without a power cord. But they can do that because you need them for certain things. You know what I mean?
Interesting. Yeah. Don't you love that?
So then Blackmagic came out with their own editing software. So from what I know, just most are using that Adobe Premiere, which is lightning on the Mac, and but not as user-friendly as Final Cut. I was just curious.
Interesting. Yeah, I have no idea. I don't edit my videos. I don't trust
I'm
myself.
surprised you don't.
No, Bismarck will tell you. I'm not a.
Are you surprised she doesn't?
Editing videos?
Yeah, because I would
hate
think
doing
that she would want to put it, because you have layers and layers and layers.
No,
I would think you would want to
I
be in control of
delegate
it.
that. Yeah,
But you also have monsters. So.
I mean, Oscar does a really good job.
Yeah, what are you gonna do? Say, Oscar, hey, let me edit it?
No, no.
He's gonna be like, yeah, okay.
I hire
Go
him
waste your time and then give it back to me.
because he knows what the fuck to do. I just, yeah, no. I know my strengths, and then I just have no interest in editing videos. Like, I like having a producer input or a director's input in terms of like what scenes we're doing or how I want things to look. But when it comes to shooting or editing,
Keep it enough. You've had enough, huh?
I'm done. Yeah, not my thing.
Yeah.
When you edit, or when you have a video or just the audio, do you use Pro Tools or Logic, or do you have
I do a lot of partnership with people that are already well versed in something like that. I don't do any production myself.
Yeah.
So it's like, it goes back to specialization, right? You don't get out of your own way, like be good at what you're good at. And then,
Right.
one wise person once told me, lead, follow, or get the hell out of the way.
Yeah.
So,
It's very smart. Yeah.
the quicker you do that, the quicker something can happen.
Right. You're a sax player.
Sax player.
You're not an editor.
Mm-mm.
You're not a producer.
Nope.
You know what I mean?
Mm-mm.
I'm not a sax player. But if you want me to edit something, I can edit it.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know. Do you know what happened with Logic? Do you know about, Logic, Pro Tools?
I never
Never got into that. Huh?
No, because I walked into a
I
studio.
am shocked that you don't at least know what they're
I'm
using.
gonna
I mean,
tell
they're using
why.
Pro Tools.
I walked in the studio. You have to remember, I just entered the music industry a few years ago, right? I walked into a studio of men in New York, right? And I walked in and I was there to learn, right? And I'm talking like you have a girl walking into the studio day one of being in the music industry. Like, I can write music, I have it in my head, I know what I want to make, but I don't know I didn't even know what fucking software to use. And I walked in and I was like, here's my first question. I want to make my own music, so where the fuck do I start? Okay, imagine a girl walking into a room full of men who have been doing this for decades, right? Or whatever. And they all looked at me and they were like, well, you could, what we use is real advanced. See, they don't know me.
Right,
They're like,
right.
what we use is real advanced. We use Pro Tools, but we could start you. My suggestion, because they didn't fucking take me seriously. My suggestion is, maybe a Logic or something. Get yourself a Logic, and I was like, no.
Listen,
Okay.
Logic is just as hard as Pro Tools.
So you guys work with Pro Tools. Is that what all the studios work with? And they're like, yeah, but I mean, those are like the professional producers. And I was like, all right, well then, you know what? Only Pro Tools it is. Done. That was the end of that. So I never even looked at Logic when I heard that, because I was like, you know what? If I'm here to play, I'm fucking here to play.
That's funny. That's funny because when Scott the engineer from Howard Stern started filling in when he could in the back, he's like, "Where's Pro Tools?" Because that's all he used the entire time
That's
with
all
Stern.
I've ever.
The day it came out, that's when Stern.
I don't know
used it.
a damn thing about Logic. Nothing.
It's complicated. I think they're both equally as hard to learn.
Pro Tools is
Pro Tools
amazing.
way
I
better.
fucking love Pro
Way
Tools.
better, 1,000 times better.
Really, I love Pro Tools.
Yeah, I mean, I don't need it for this stuff, but you guys do, you know. But
Yeah.
he's like, "Where's Pro Tools?" I'm like, "Buddy, it's a podcast from Howard Stern." And then he looks at that shit, and he's like, "Oh boy," you know. But yeah, Pro Tools seems to be the one.
Yeah,
Did either of you get COVID?
I did.
You both got it.
Yeah. We went to a wedding in New Orleans. I got it in New Orleans. This was at the very beginning, L'Oreal and John's wedding, and we friends of ours, and this was at the start of it all, and I was like, why the fuck are we all sick? We were all taking Jello shots, squirting syringes in each other's mouths. I mean, fucking crazy. It's New Orleans, right? Yeah, we came home. We were all so sick. And then it was like a month later. They're like, oh, everything shut down. We were like, shit.
Oh, you got it right in the beginning.
I got it in the beginning. Yeah.
That sucks.
I did.
Bad? Was it bad or just like
No.
the flu?
No, I never get sick. And I
Yeah.
have like the best immune system. Man, yeah.
Did you? And you got it too, right? You got it bad or just a cupcake walk?
First time was really bad, but it was before it was like known. December 2019.
Oh wow, you got it really.
You
in the
got it
beginning.
before me.
Yeah,
Damn.
it was like the worst flu. Something about to me was like very synthetic compared to like having the flu before. This was just different, and my taste kind of went away a little bit. Like it was really bad, and I still was operating and doing things, but like go to bed, I would sweat like a champ. Just like
Night
waterbed
sweats.
now.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then I got it a couple more times actually.
Really?
Each time it was just less and less and less.
Immune system build up at
Mhm.
defense toward it, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
How bad did the pandemic affect both of you? I mean, luckily, you guys can always stream and make music, so we're lucky that we're in Florida and, we're in like the music podcast things
I loved it.
even if I couldn't get anybody in, I could just talk to that fucking curtain if I had to.
I loved it. I was on the phone all the time.
Were you?
Yeah.
So that's what I noticed with COVID, right? It either destroyed you or it made you.
Yeah.
It seems like there's not really too much in the middle.
I had so many great conversations. I mean,
So it benefited, and you turned
yeah.
the time off into a positive, right?
Yeah.
Now with you, how did that affect your career?
I would say the weirdest thing was a psychological thing. I mean, it was kind of, I needed a break actually, and I didn't know the break would come this way.
Kind of a hell of a way to happen, huh?
Right.
But like for me, even I would say over the last year, I'm undoing the psychology of just kind of being at home and stuck at home. Like I didn't realize how much I loved and absorbed the presence of other people until like COVID happened. And I think, it's a once in a lifetime occurrence, right? And in order for what affects you psychologically during those times, in order for that to be undone, that in turn takes time. So it's one of those things. Like, I think the weirdest thing for me was just the absence of people and the absence of like societal just gathering.
Yeah, and like I would go to get even when it kind of like died out, when it wasn't really that big a deal anymore.
Mhm.
I would go to get like a tire changed, and they'd be like, "We can't get anybody to work. It's 3 weeks out." And I'm like, "It's a tire," and usually it's a friend of mine, and usually it'd be the same day. And he's like, "I can't get anybody to come in to work." They only have one mechanic when usually they have 10. It's a big
Yeah.
dealership.
Yeah.
Multiple times I went. Only one mechanic, I'm sorry, because they got so used to being at home. Then they got the check. Then when the check ran out, they just found a way to work from home and never went back to any. That happened to a lot of people and a lot of businesses.
There's this one guy I used to play. From time to time I do. I played at all of his restaurants. One of the ways he adapted is he literally turned his restaurant, since he couldn't see anybody, he turned his restaurant into a market. So I would go there and buy like milk and chicken and eggs and these things, and it was pretty interesting. He flipped it quickly. He just went,
And the restaurants that flipped real quick to Uber Eats, they survived.
Mm-hmm.
The ones that didn't got crushed.
I know.
Crushed.
I know. Rodney. And did you see Rodney go before city council?
Yeah,
Did you see that?
I saw.
Oh, that was so heartbreaking. I was just.
Party Central, I had them on. I've been doing SEO for Party Central for a decade.
Yeah.
And they closed all locations, and I was doing them worldwide. So I would have
crazy.
somebody in multiple countries working on it in that language, the SEO, and then translate it to all complicated shit.
Yeah.
They closed. So I wake up that was one of those days you don't want to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Wake up, all locations closed. Boom.
That's crazy.
And the top of the email. 2 weeks later, Freedom Gym in New York. It was a gym where like J-Lo or like celebrities would go so they don't get bothered.
Mm-hmm.
$1,500 a day or, $200,000, $250,000 a year. But, so they don't get bothered.
Right.
Wow. It was crazy. And I would do all the SEO for them. Now, these are people that are wealthy. You would think that being that they're that wealthy, right? The reoccurring, the $2,000, $3,000, whatever, depending on what level you want it to be, you would just let it reoccur. You have the money, right?
Right.
You're going to kill this place.
Right.
Well, they didn't. They would change the credit card numbers, the debit card numbers, checking accounts, so they couldn't do the reoccurring. So for 15 fucking months, all those reoccurrings were dead. 70% of the reoccurrings got canceled.
God, it's so sad what happened in New York. The Times Square. I remember getting a call. I got a call from a friend of mine in the music industry, and he was like, yo, I just like this. The crime is so bad in Times Square. The studio that I had gone to, a couple times, not the other one in New York that I went to, but the first one, the initial one, is shut down. They shut down, and it had nothing to do with business. It had to do with the fact that literally people were looting the streets. Like, it just wasn't safe. You know what I mean?
That guy, they had cameras like iPhone. You see that guy multiple guys run out on camera of Louis Vuitton with
I believe
50,
it.
100. Did you see that? You saw it?
That's crazy, man.
Everybody with videotape. Nothing happened. If I would have done that, I would have got 20.
Oh,
Even they would
was-
have given me 20.
Yeah, it's so sad.
That's crazy.
Women were getting raped. I mean, it was awful.
Sick.
It was like all kinds of stuff going on, and it was so heartbreaking. You know what I mean? Because it's New York. I mean, I grew up going to you know what I mean? Like, I've spent a lot of time in New York. I still do.
What was the last time you were there?
When was the last time I was there? I flew up there. When was it? 5 or 6 months ago, real quick. So not for very long. I was going to go this summer to stay. Like, we have friends in the Hamptons, and I just never went. You never went, did you?
How bad was it 5 months ago?
Not bad. I mean, it's not bad. Times Square, I think, is just still recovering from what I hear, but depends on where you go. I mean, we have friends, Surya and all those guys are.
DeSantos might be sending another plane to them or a bus to them. How about that? How funny was that?
That's crazy.
That was the funniest thing ever. He only sent 50 right there, and they were going nuts.
I know.
And you put these poor police guys, Border Patrol, dealing with that all by themselves. It's not about left or right. Fuck the left or right. It's just, I mean, you're making these sheriffs in Texas deal with all that, and you can't handle 50.
Yeah.
Send 100,000 to them. I bet you they change their tune.
I don't know. It's crazy. It's so crazy.
It's a crazy thing. Crazy times.
It's so crazy. My choreographer sent me a message the other night out in LA, Sticks, and
what are guys like Lou and them saying about all this shit?
No, we don't like. It's so funny because everyone I do business with, like, we all stay out of political bullshit. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like, for me, humanity is above all of that. You know what I mean? Because it's like, for me, it's like someday I look at it as someday, we're all not going to even be on the planet anymore. Like you know what I mean? Like I'm just like, we're all visiting, right? Like, and so there's a level of humanity I think that I have. I try to look at it, and it's so funny because regardless of what your political stance is, like I told Bismarck, I got a message from my choreographer, and he had been hired by a family out of Nashville that wants to, throw some money into their daughter being the next big star, right? And they had hired him, and he cleared his calendar, and they hired him for a big and then they found out his political stance, and they said, listen, they pulled the deal from
Just
him.
over a political stance.
Yeah, and he was like, you know what I mean? He was so flabbergasted that, like, what does that have to do with, the work or the quality of work that
nothing
we
to
have,
do with
you know
anything.
what I mean? And
Yeah.
it's so crazy to me. It's like, my God, if someone was in a car crash, would you walk past them if they weren't your political
if they weren't
party?
red or
Like,
blue, are you going to let the guy die? Or the woman
like,
die?
come on, like, where is our level of humanity with each other? I mean, my foundation is the fact that, we should all be very thankful and feel blessed that we live in, we have democracy. The fact that we are allowed to have multiple parties.
Don't go that far. Allowed to what?
Allowed to vote for whatever that we have the freedom to vote for whatever side we want to. I mean, listen,
I hate it as much as you.
A DJ that remixed one of my songs, literally is living in a country that doesn't even allow him to earn. You know what I mean? Like,
because of his political views?
No, allow him to, like, he doesn't even have the freedom to earn money on music.
Oh,
you know what I mean? Like there are, I'm working with people around the world that, it's like, my God, regardless, we are very blessed to be in the position where, you know what I mean? And
that is one thing. If you've never been to a place like Cuba, this isn't shit. This is a phase where it's going to get worse, in my opinion, a lot worse. But it will circle back around. Yeah, it's just how worse is it going to get? Yeah. That's the concern.
I mean, I'm kind of with, like, I guess, Elon, where it's like, you're right on certain things and you're left on certain things, and you know what I mean. Yeah. Like, that's where I am. Like,
me too. No, I'm like that too.
In terms of, like,
I like a lot of both.
Yeah.
I mean, right now, I don't know about right now.
But
in general, I just like whoever's best.
Yeah.
And I hate the red and blue shit. I think it's just a nightmare. I think just fucking let them all run, and whoever's the best wins. Because, and this, I'm not being political, because believe me, I have to deal with it enough in here. But if you didn't have the red, you didn't have the white, you just had 10 people run, then an independent that might be a monster has a shot. Mm-hmm. Because right now, an independent has no shot. I don't care how good. They don't have the money.
Yeah.
Right? How can an independent possibly win, even if they're the best candidate that there is?
Yeah.
That we would want in, but you got no shot. So then you look at the other sides and you're like, no. And then what's half the country do? They just sit at home and don't do anything. I hate it. And then all the diversity with it.
Yeah.
Like what happened with you. Might have happened with you. It happened with me.
Right.
And I'm not even fucking one, just because I have somebody who's Republican in, doesn't mean I'm bleeding fucking Republican, because I agree with both the shit.
Right.
The border thing I think is crazy, because I'm seeing kids die, friends die with the fentanyl and everything else.
I know.
And to give, my friend John Rourke was just in Arizona. Oh. And again, this isn't a political thing, but when you see that the airport is filled with plane tickets of illegal immigrants for free with cell phones and a doggy bag, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah.
And they're pushed by the cartel. On the way here, there's vending stands, like actual stands for water, soda, food to get here by the cartel. And if you watch the video I did with Rourke, that coyote, who's the cartel, goes right to the Mexican border, makes sure that they get to the water. He watches and waits for them to get through the water. They get over it. You don't know which one has something on them and which one doesn't. Might be the one acting like she's in the water and the baby's drowning. You don't know. And now all these sheriffs, border patrol have to deal with all this with no help. And all that is doing, because the cartel is getting them in and the government's allowing them in for financial interest. And that goes to the people around you, your friends, your family, your loved ones.
I know, it's crazy.
And that's why I bring it up. Not about political.
I know.
It's not about political.
It's so crazy. The world is, there's so many crazy things going on.
Have you ever seen, you've never seen it this crazy. You're not, what are you, 19?
Yeah.
You don't have a fucking wrinkle. It's fucking
19, baby. 19.
So now for all the independent artists out there, and each of you go, that are just struggling and they want to give up, what would you say to them?
I'd say, I mean, I know I've said a lot about kindness and positivity, but familiarize yourself and be comfortable with rejection. I think that's really important. You know, you got to get to a point, I mean, you don't try to, but life happens and you have to dig deep, you know, and rejection comes. And it's something you have to deal with. The more you're comfortable with it, if you know it's coming, it's easier to deal with. I'll say the worst type of rejection is one you don't see coming, you know.
Blindsided, right?
Like that happened to me. I was really into a particular project with a group of musicians, did a lot of time with them, and I figured they would make me a part of something I was anticipating. Like I wouldn't have to ask for it. It would just be like, okay, bring me in. And it didn't happen. And so that ended up being a motivator for me to kind of work on my own music. So it turned around in a good way. But again, it was something I didn't see coming. It's something I thought would happen, that it should happen. But then when those things don't go your way, it's a moment you got to make a choice. Right?
Right.
Stress, yeah.
And then give me the best thing that's happened to you because you decided to go independent or indie.
Well, I would say I've always been independent, but I would say one friend, I'm a quote guy, and in these conversations, all like quotes come back. I have a friend who said that half the battle is showing up. So I took that attitude with me, and, you know, I showed up one night to a particular place, and, you know, I met some pretty interesting people. And if I had said, you know what, let me just stay in, you never know when the next move is going to be the time. Right?
But I mean, is that something you wouldn't have been able to do if you would have been with the label?
No.
So what's one of the best things that have happened because you're indie?
Oh, because I'm indie?
Yeah.
I think overall mobility is the biggest thing. I don't have anyone telling me that I can't do something.
Right. Yeah, because if there's something you want to do that they don't think is up to par, then they're going to tell you not to do it, right?
Yeah, you get to experience like the organic nature of everything.
Makes sense.
You know?
What about you? Well, what's the best thing that's happened to you that would not have happened if you would have went with a label?
I think meeting the people that I've met, you know, the people that have given me their time or people that have taken an interest in what I've done. A lot of it is because I am by myself, right? You know, it's kind of like when you're part of a label, you're already kind of like in this big circle, right? When you're by yourself and you're carving your own path, you know, different people in the industry notice that, you know what I mean? And it's usually the people that you attract to that are usually very quality people, right? Because they're, you know, they believe in you. You know, I have found that there are people that find that inspiring, right? And
makes sense, because if you're with a label, they're paying you because you're good. But then if you're independent and they're working with you, then they have to believe in you, right? Because you have nothing really to show.
Exactly. Yeah.
You know, you don't have a label behind you. So then I would think, with that being said, then you would have people that are going to work harder for you.
Yeah.
In a sense, right? Because you were noticed by yourself.
Yeah.
You know, I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you know, I think, you know, going in line with what Bismarck said, you know, in going independent, like giving people advice, it's like, you know, you know, accept the rejection, like welcome it, just it sucks. It's hard. It's taken me a year to really, I have a strong shell, right? But it's taken me a year to make it even stronger. And it's like you have to remind yourself, listen, this is a huge world. There's millions of people out there, you know what I mean? And if these select people don't like me, there's millions that I can still meet, that I can, it's a big world out there, and so I just, you know what I mean? Like, don't even blink at the rejection, if somebody doesn't want to fuck with you, that's fine. Go,
keep
fine.
it moving.
Yeah, keep it moving, there's going to be someone at the next door that does, you know what I mean? And you just have to face it with that mentality.
And I guess that would be a good advice for someone who's struggling and just not hitting it off.
For sure.
Now, if somebody contacts you and they say, "Okay, Cassie, I'm just struggling. I see you in Bismarck. Blah 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 blah. What can you do for me?"
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like,
like they're an independent artist. They see you. They like your personality. They like Biz over here. When they contact you, how do you evaluate them, and how do you make a decision if you were to work with them or not?
I mean, I think you the approach I take is I get to know. I had a random person DM me, randomly, just a couple nights ago, and was like, "Hey, I've got these 5 songs. Curious, I see you support indie artists. Will you listen to them? Or hey, can you tell me what you think of my music?" I'll listen to it. Like I'll do that. I do that a lot, and a lot of it's just multitasking, being able to be that, right? But I mean, I usually get to know someone. What are they looking for? What type of artist are they? What type of music do they make? What do they see for themselves? I might know somebody that I can connect them with. Or it might be somebody that says, "Hey, I need a producer. I want to lay some stuff down. I need a producer." Okay, well let's
see what we can do. Right?
Yeah, let's talk. What are you? As a producer, when I put on my producer hat, right? Like I love hip hop. Like I love. I started off very pop, and now I've like my newer stuff. I love the low ends and stuff like that, right? But as a producer, the cool thing about my job is I enjoy producing different types of shit. I enjoy producing musical scores. I enjoy producing rap music.
What's a musical score?
Or like a soundtrack, like a film score. Film score.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I have a collection of songs I've produced that I've set aside for film, right? Those aren't, you know what I mean? Like I enjoy, as a producer, it keeps shit interesting for me, right?
It doesn't get boring.
It doesn't get boring.
Same old thing over.
It doesn't get boring.
Yeah.
We were on the boat, Kaiwan. We were on the boat with and an artist out in Wellington that my friend had actually wanted to introduce me to. He's looking to put some music out and he needs a producer. And I was talking to him and I was like, listen, what type of style? And he's like, I'm into that soulful. And I was like, let me play something for me. Let me hear it. It legit sounds like Michael Jackson. Like
really?
I have never. His name is Kaiwan. Shout out to Kaiwan. Kaiwan, beautiful voice. I'm talking like one of the prettiest male vocals I have ever heard in my life. And I was like, Kaiwan, you sound just like, he's like, I know, it's crazy, right? He's like, because he can hit all that high shit that Michael did.
Yeah.
And I was like, what kind of music do you want to make? And he's like, soul music, And I'm like, dude, I already like had a song or two produced, saved, because and I was like, let me play you one or two. And he's like, oh man, he's like, yeah, he's like, I love that. It's like, there you go. Like that's.
Who can hit the highest note? You think Mariah Carey can hit the highest note, or Celine Dion maybe at her time? Who can hit the highest note? Do you think? Who's up there? Some of them can belt them out. Alicia Keys, she can go pretty high.
Wasn't Mariah Carey known to have like the highest or the biggest range?
Probably.
voice.
I
I
mean,
feel like
it's so much that goes into it.
Whitney.
Maybe Whitney too.
Day.
Yeah.
God, Whitney was so beautiful.
I think it was Mariah. I think you're right, Mariah. But she was also dating the guy that owned the fucking label at Sony, so he could just go like this a little bit. No, I don't think so. I'm just joking.
No, you can't. You
no,
can't.
She's a beast. No. Yeah,
You know, those vocal artists, it's like, you know, it's beautiful.
Yeah. And you don't see many not playing the music in the background.
I
nowadays.
know. And I mean, and you know, and this is a guy, Kaiwan's a guy. I mean, he's a guy that can literally say, you know, Adele's another one, you know,
Adele,
God, that
Oh man,
She should have kept pumping them out.
that Grammy performance that she did
Yeah.
with just the piano,
Yeah.
just the piano and the mic
She's something.
and
that
her
Adele.
vocal, man, she's beautiful, you know. Yeah.
And how do you go about picking who you're going to collaborate with? What is it with you? How do you decide who you're going to collaborate with?
me
Yeah.
now. My evolved answer to that is
My
it's called quality of production, right? Clarity of marketability of what they're producing, and legal structure.
a what structure?
Legal structure.
Oh, legal. So
So
what's that mean? Can you pull up his Instagram? He's got cool shit on there.
I definitely say like you want. I mean, if you're gonna get into the music business and do something right, you want someone that's doing things right on so many different fronts. Yeah. So,
Yeah, I mean it's just beast mode.
yeah, that was great.
Where was this at here?
That was on South Florida Charters. Wonderful, intimate vessel there, and had a great camera woman videoing me, Cassie Moore. So she got a great video there. She does it all.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
So-
Thank you very
That's
much.
about as fancy as. Hey, I'm cool videos as long as I'm taking them of other people.
That's good there.
I,
too.
I'm not. I don't like taking videos of myself. This guy's a vibe. He's like, you're not gonna believe where the fuck I am right now.
That's my new favorite picture. Remember the last one? I forget
That's-
my last favorite one was. This is my new
That's
favorite
a good
one.
one.
That was epic too.
I would
That's a
make
good
that an album cover, but I
So-
know nothing about that stuff. So
The Faena Hotel is a ridiculous 5-star hotel in Miami, right?
Oh, that's a Faena.
They have their own theater, like theater production and everything. So they have
Miami, really?
yeah. Oh my God. So
I thought
It's
they
a
were
pretty
LA.
theater too.
this wedding rented out the theater for their after party. So set up a DJ where people would act, and they had like all these crazy like Miami Vice looking themes, and that was a screenshot of a video that was taken of me. And I just think yeah, I love it. That was a great moment.
Am I allowed to ask just hypothetically what you think was dropped on that particular event?
I mean, no doubt.
I'm going to tell you right now, considering what we spent on one suite at Faena for the week, yeah, I mean,
I thought
like,
Fina was only in like L.A., New York.
Faena's crazy.
That
And
had
then
to
they like to charge your card twice, and then they're like, oh, we'll get that.
I mean,
other
we'll put it
back
this
here.
way.
Sorry.
There are people who do wedding events
Yeah.
who won't do them, say, for less than $1 million, just their fee to be the wedding planner. So
Enough said, right? Yeah.
that was the level of people there.
Yeah. Well, I would assume.
But I mean, like, you know, it is what it is.
Hey, if you have it, live life,
Hey,
right?
you know.
Live life and take a great picture of my boy.
Yeah, right.
Congratulations, man. That's a big one. That's a
Hey.
big gig, boy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And Cassie, we got you. Tell me what there's the two lovebirds.
Oh my God, I know. That's so funny.
That's a good picture,
This was in. What did I? Oh yeah, no. I just, I did that post to kind of spark some chats with indie artists.
yeah. Well, no, it's good for it's
And,
good.
Yeah, and we love that.
Those just some big ass engines on there.
I know. You got Ronnie 2K right there.
Oh, that was a
And are you guys basketball fans?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Ronnie's the fucking man. Yeah.
Where are you at here?
That's in New York.
Is it?
Yeah, that's New York. Yeah. Like I said, listen, music is, Miami, New York, LA. I mean, you find yourself at meetings in those cities pretty often. And then that's at 11.
Levin's
That
always
was
popping.
that was the night of my birthday.
Good place to go for your birthday.
Yeah, we had a good That was my birthday, and then we shot back up to Palm Beach and hung out with friends.
This one
Got
was
on the
funny
boat.
when I was going through them.
Oh, really?
Same place?
Yeah. I didn't realize I was on there twice. That's funny. That was a shout out to my designer on the earrings.
Look at that view.
That was in the Bahamas. It's crazy. Oh my God. Listen, the beautiful thing about living here is
You're close.
we can go to the Bahamas anytime we fucking want.
That looks fun there, boy.
We had a good time. There's your music video shoot with Oscar, actually.
Which one?
Both of those.
Both of them?
Yeah,
Okay.
those first two, both
Cool.
of them. We shot this in Miami. It was hot as fuck that night. Excuse my language.
Your
but,
luck, right?
I mean, it was 115. I don't even know. You can't even.
With probably extreme humidity.
Yeah, it was so hot. But had to be on rooftop in Miami. It's just kind of like the vision.
And then they're
that
getting
we
down
wanted.
here. This is cool. I saw this.
Yeah.
She can move here.
Yeah.
I thought at
they're,
first maybe you braided your hair.
No.
I really did at first.
Yeah, no. No, they're amazing. They're actually a couple. They're a
Good for
couple.
them.
Yeah, they're really cute. They but they can dance. I mean, this was really quick choreo that they threw together.
Doesn't look quick.
Yeah, I know.
Right.
I know. Well, I mean, like I said, with choreo, it's like, I don't know, dancing kind of becomes second nature for you.
But it's just
I
they're
think
such
after a
they're
while.
so in sync.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I love watching that. I could watch choreography all day.
Yeah. There's Kevin Candlebox. Best band ever, man. I just Candlebox back in the day. I mean, we're talking this was back when 311, Collective Soul.
Oh yeah.
My best, one of my best friends from high school is married to the lead singer of Collective Soul.
It's cool to
She's
see
a
like
sweetheart.
some of the older bands and everything else still running around.
Yeah.
Like I had
crazy.
Motown in.
Yeah.
Larry Johnson from Motown.
Did you really?
Yeah,
Holy
he came
shit, yeah.
Friday, and he's still pumping that Motown. He was with
crazy,
the
right?
Temptations.
Yeah.
He was with the Four. Oh, he's gonna kill me. The Four Tops.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's crazy.
And he's still pushing it.
Right.
What are you doing here?
We were in the studio. That's down in Miami. That's at Hit Factory, Criteria, down in Miami, and just
Having
being
fun.
silly, just being silly. But
Yeah.
we were. That was when we record. Actually, that's when we recorded Bismarck. I wanted to get him on the good mic.
What the hell's this?
And that was the NBA NBA finals out in San
Oh.
Fran. Yeah. Basketball is life for me.
Jabberwockies.
I'm like a man when it comes to cars and like vintage cars.
In basketball. huh?
Yeah, like vintage,
Oh, that's right.
Mustangs and
What are they?
and
What are those guys called?
basketball
Jabberwockies.
Yeah.
Jabberwockies.
Yeah.
Have you seen them? Have you seen them?
I see them in LA before.
Oh my God.
They're
I was
so
like,
talented.
so
talented.
halftime rolled around and people were like, going to get their drinks and shit, taking their break. And me, I was like, I am fucking, where's the best view to see these people? Like, I was so excited.
They can do crazy shit.
They're,
Oh
they're
my God,
extremely
they're-
talented.
They're amazing.
And seeing them in
They're
person is a different experience.
Oh my God.
They're
I
insane.
You saw them in
had been-
person?
Yeah.
Did you?
I had been wanting to see them and I was so excited. I was like, oh my God, this is
They're
amazing.
insane.
What's your favorite song on here? You grew like crazy, girl.
It's
Fuego.
Wow.
Well, it's been really cool. A lot of it's just connecting with people. I mean, one of my favorite music for the win is always going to be my personal favorite just because it was something that someone told me I couldn't do.
Oh, so this was like, I can't do it?
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, well.
You should put music for the win, F you.
So, yeah. So when
Like exclamation mark, then like,
when I produced it, I wanted to take from a production standpoint, right? I wanted to take each genre of music that I had been through rock, reggae, trap, like Atlanta. Every piece of me that made me who I was about music, I wanted to put that in a song.
All
right?
into one.
Yeah, and I wanted the underlying chorus to be, you know, listen, music for the win. Like it doesn't matter what fucking genre you listen to. It's like music is a universal language. You know what I mean? Like each and every person on this planet likes some kind of music, right? So it's like I wanted to reflect that in a song. So it was like I went from my first rock concert to reggae. You know what I mean? And
I can hear a lot of it.
So anyway, when I produced it, like even here, in the reggae section, I have steel drums and I have like the Jamaican call I threw in there. You know, I mean, there's all of these elements in the production. And when I went into the studio, I'll never forget the two guys looking back at me and I was like, listen, this is a song where production element wise, I am bringing in sounds from 5 different genres into one song. I mean,
And they were probably like, "You're a nightmare."
Yeah, they were like, "This is gonna be the shittiest song ever," you know. And then when Lou mixed it and he sent it to Mike, and they were like, "It's a hot record," you know. And it can be where I'm gonna be doing a remix of that with some bigger artists, and so you know, there's a lot of stuff. Up a Level's gone crazy in Europe. This shit has been like.
Well, you know how you're.
I got a video.
We're all into this shit.
Up a Level was remixed, but it was I literally got footage of it being played in Dubai at this club in Dubai, and it's like when you see your music, like, you know, people from different parts of the world interpret it differently.
Stuff
really
like
cool.
Up a Level is all you'll hear in Sicily. It's all they listen
Yeah,
to.
no, it's crazy. Like I sent it when I dropped that song, I literally emailed it to 9 DJs in Ibiza that I had been following, right? And I was like, okay, if I can get it out to Ibiza, then I can probably just, maybe one of them will fucking throw it in their set. You know?
Right, yeah,
Rule
yeah.
number 1, I'd never ask a DJ to play anything, right? Don't do it, right?
Unless you have a 20 in your pocket.
No,
A big D-
I
a big-
don't do
a
it.
big
I don't.
DJ
It's bad
does
juju.
You said
Bad
it,
juju, bad karma. You know what? Like, I appreciate DJs. You know, I'll let them do what they want to do. But I'm like, I'm gonna fucking see. I'll just sit back and see who throws it in their set, right? And shit fucking took off. It was playing in a bar in Amsterdam, and I got. It had a moment in Amsterdam. It was like, fuck.
Fucking
What is
cool,
all
right?
this shit coming, through my analytics from Amsterdam? Like, where the
Who
fuck?
gives a fuck? Who cares where the fuck it comes from?
I don't care, man. I told
neither.
Bismarck, I was like, we're doing a show in Germany. I don't give a fuck. Let's go.
Bet they pay more than here.
You know? But-
Bismarck, what's a couple of your favorites on here?
Man, honestly, I like Kombuka. That's the one I did on the yacht. It's a chill instrumental, you know. Pretty smooth, pretty good.
This is that like turnpike song.
Yeah.
You sit back, put the seat back a little
Turnpike
bit,
song.
put the back massage on the seat.
I never heard that
Turnpike
put that way
song.
before. That's so funny.
I love
That's-
that.
I would because I'm
That's
just
crazy.
relaxing. Nobody's bothering me.
Yeah.
Oh, no phone service. Fuck off. Can't find the phone. Lost it.
Right?
Just sit back.
So funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of different, kind of range of styles. Did a lot of that production work with Rever Deep. But, I think what's even more amazing is what we got coming out. It's hard to, I can't really even talk about it. It's just so big. It's ridiculous. To work with Cassie is like rare.
Do you have any
Right.
idea when you're gonna put it
This
out?
song
or
is
this going to be a
this,
whole thing?
It's it's coming out real soon. But
I heard
it's-
that last time. So this is going to be a
Yeah,
whole thing.
no, it actually is for.
I understand. I
We
understand
have
why you're waiting.
The cover art is being made right
I
now.
understand why you're waiting. I'm just curious.
And I told him not to rush on the cover art. The
I like this.
cover
I like this one a lot.
until I come back.
Yeah.
This is very like.
It's like fucking Magnum PI shit.
This is
I love Magnum PI. Now you would hear this in the background, like when
Tommy
Magnum
would be
PI.
playing in his house as he's like pouring a glass of wine, making some dinner.
Magnum PI on
Got
TV.
the girl
He's
coming
about to-
over.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love it.
All you gotta do is put Bismarck on, and you got a 50-50 shot, even if you're nut huggers with blue and white lines in them and a hairy belly.
This is actually really after this one, that My Real Friends.
Mm-hmm.
So what I did was, that's a song that I produced, right? And what I did was to help kind of motivate and encourage indie artists in general, what I did was I took that song and I was like, you know what? This is such a fun, happy song that I'm going to give this to the world for free, right? And so when you go to my Spotify, you'll see I have My Real Friends world template. And what it is,
How do I go to that?
it's...
So go to your Spotify.
Yeah, it's actually really cool because I don't know of anyone else that has done this. If you scroll all the way down, you'll have to go up and hit discography. I mean, obviously it's something that doesn't get played very much because it's
You take us there. Right there.
Shit, I don't even know. How do I see everything? This isn't all of my... Where's the world? Oh, how in the hell do you work your mouse? Am I...
Don't worry.
Oh,
Well,
are
wait,
you
when this
doing
comes out, it will
Are
be
you both doing it? Hit see all.
See all.
There you
Okay.
go. Thank you. How
worry.
did you do that so fast? Scroll down. Or if you don't mind.
You won't know.
You're gonna have to go all
This will all be cut up. This will be smooth as fuck. when you
Oh,
watch
okay.
it.
Got
Trust
it. Oh my God. I don't know where it is. Where the hell is it? Maybe I took it off my main page. I have to look and see. Anyway, but what I did was, there it is. There it is. Song template free to the world. So if you hit play on that.
What's the time say on the audio?
Oh,
It's 2 hours, 58 minutes, and 30 seconds.
Okay.
okay. Awesome. Thank you.
All right. Go ahead.
Yep. If you hit that, hit the play button right there, world template. So all this is just my production, right? And I was like, you know what? I'm going to give this to the world. And any indie artist that's out there can take this and create whatever the fuck they want with it and release it as their own fucking song. They owe me nothing. Just put my name as a feature, but you don't have to pay me anything, right?
Like, here you go.
Here you go.
Yeah.
Here's a free song.
Very cool.
Right? And so Bismarck took it and he put his saxophone on it, right? And he released it as his own song. When that streams, he makes the money. I don't make anything, right? And then we had another rapper create his rendition and played that. You know what I mean? So it's like indie artists don't realize, like, you know what I mean?
Now, you couldn't do that with a label, right?
No.
Hell no, right?
This is the fun
That's some of the
shit I
things
like
that-
to do
right.
as an independent. I like to do whatever the fuck I want to do.
And you do.
And I did, right?
It's true.
But I mean, for me, it's like, you know what? Listen, it just builds a community and it's like, fuck, and forget about it.
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean?
No,
like,
it's good. I mean, what you're doing is you're taking what you've built, right? You know,
Right.
some grind, and you're throwing a little bit of a bone to those who are coming up. You
Yeah.
know, some
I'm
of,
like,
of the
listen.
years and hours of work that you put in, you're throwing a bone to some people coming up
Yeah.
that maybe didn't get that bone.
and you know what? If they make a rendition, I'm going to fucking share it with
Sure.
everyone. You know what I mean? Bismarck made his and I fucking blasted it, right?
And like you said, like he said, being nice.
Yeah.
Somebody
I
catches
mean,
wind. Who the hell
yeah,
knows
you
where
know,
it goes? Yeah.
doing that, just that one gesture, I guess, got me fans. You know what I mean? A lot of those people now listen to my music. You know what I mean? I had a couple fans email me for my sheet music. That's another thing. I don't sell my sheet music, right?
Fuck is sheep music? Or
Sheet
music.
music.
What's
So
that?
like
Yeah.
like when you play the piano, you know how like you could go into a music store and buy sheet music. Like you could go buy the sheet music for a Taylor Swift song and take it home and play it.
I
You know
thought
what
that
I mean?
would be a copyright violation or something.
No, I mean no. You can buy sheet music for
I have no idea.
anyway, or buy it online. You know what I mean? I don't sell my sheet music, so my actual instrumentals, you know, my melodies that I write, my composition, every song I've done has sheet music, but I only gift it to people that ask for it, right? And that's it. Like doing that alone got me I don't even know, another 5,000 a month. Like people ask, how did I get my monthly listeners? Like I blasted a lot of, pianists and said, hey, if you ever are interested, I'll send you. I don't sell it to everyone. I don't give it to everyone.
But if you're interested, let me know.
Yeah, if you're interested, let me know. And I mean, there you go. Follow on Spotify. You know what I mean? It's like, you have to get
Bismarck,
creative.
what do you got coming up? You have any events lined up coming up soon?
I'll be out of town just for some like
You can
private
close out of
weddings
that.
and so forth.
There you go.
Got after that, so that's gonna be New Jersey in 2 weeks. I'll be in New Jersey.
Oh, cool.
That'll be fun. Then after that, it gets really busy into October. I'm doing something for Boca Magazine, doing a couple little like one-offs. So it'll be good. It'll be solid.
Cool. And send me everything that's coming up in the description so I can put it all in, ways to get a hold of you, everything else. And what do you have coming up, Cassie?
Really just focused on this record. And then I have 2 full albums coming out, but I want to drop this record first. I want to get this one off the table.
And when do we think maybe?
I had said 3 months. It's
Bismarck,
going to depend.
when do we think? ...
No, it's gonna be soon. I mean,
I know you'll do it.
He's working on the cover art right now. The guy, the one who's doing the cover art, actually has worked with Chris Brown, our Breezy.
Really?
Yeah. It's I know, but again, these are things that fortunately, people, he was nice. I asked, and he's like, yeah, of course, and so I didn't have that relationship a year ago. You know what I mean? So it's like the timing has really worked out. You know what I mean?
So what's one more thing to the independent artists? What would you say to them?
I mean, you first and foremost, you have to really be super passionate about this. So you have to ask yourself, are you willing to, because if, indie artists, like you have to really, really want this to make it happen. I truly believe that. Like this is not something that you can half-ass and expect it. You know what I mean? You can make the best music. I'll never forget, Lou's wife Annette said to me, she's like, Cassie, she's like, because I had, insecurities when I first entered the music world. I was like, listen, this is not a traditional path that someone takes. Like I'm going to put everything into this. Like, I just want to make sure I'm making a smart decision. And I'll never forget, she said to me, she said, Cassie, she said, your music doesn't have to be the best music. She goes, someone who hustles, music that's good enough will kill somebody that has amazing music that doesn't hustle. Amazing music that you don't hustle doesn't make it.
It never gets anywhere, and it's a shame. Right?
It's a shame. Yeah. So it's like I had to ask myself, and she's like, are you willing to do whatever it takes? Like, are you willing to give it that hustle? And I was like, shit, yeah, I will. You know what I mean?
Anything to add to that? If you're an independent artist playing piano, sax, violin, I like violin a lot. And flute. You play flute too, right? Can you play flute? What was the other one you could play pretty good?
I can mess around the keys a little bit.
Yeah, that's what it was.
Yeah.
So what would you say to somebody? Anything to add to what Cassie said?
The grind. You gotta keep doing it. John Coltrane. I saw a good meme of him, and it basically said, he had all the talent in the world, but he hustled like a man with no talent. I
like that.
You just can't use that's what happens. People get caught up in how good they were at something, and they just don't think they need to push anything. Oh, I'm good enough.
Content.
They're content. They just sit.
Yeah.
And anything that sits isn't going to get anywhere.
Yeah, especially in an independent world, right? You get content tonight,
right?
It's over,
Yeah.
right?
It's crazy.
While you're celebrating your success, you're already thinking about the next thing.
And if somebody wants to hire you for an event, wedding, how can we get a hold of you?
I'd say Instagram DM. most successful.
That's the best way to do it. Okay, we'll have that in the description. And Cassie, how can we get a hold of you with the 19 different things?
I think
just
it's,
joking. How to make you laugh.
I'll take
How to
it.
make you laugh.
I'll take it. I know. Instagram is fine.
Instagram's
Yeah,
the
my
best.
DMs are open. You know.
I really respect
listen,
that you answer all those because a lot of times I'll DM somebody
You get
and
a
just
lot
say
of,
fucking
like-
no, just be like no.
Listen,
I'm fucking busy.
I'm not
I can't
gonna
come
lie.
on.
I get some stuff that
I'm not. I know.
like I get some stuff from like
can imagine.
men, like guys. I had somebody show up at my house. I think I told you that last time. Like
Oh.
I mean, you had. When I say I answer everything, it's like
Be careful what you say. I forgot about that part.
I
of it.
don't answer everything.
She doesn't
right?
answer the door. And if you do, there's a Rottweiler back there and 10 more of them.
Who does that? Who shows up at someone's house uninvited? Like,
Talking about happens all the time.
yeah, I know. It's that. Like, it's
Well,
scary.
when you start to get big, you're gonna need a fucking fence.
No,
Just get a bunch of dogs.
I had
get a bunch
security
of hungry
for 30
dogs.
days after that incident. But
You get a dog that's hungry, and you train it. That's all you need.
yeah,
You don't have to pay him other than a nice piece of filet mignon.
yeah, right.
Oh, he's happy as fuck. Hey, dog.
People
Somebody
are
comes,
crazy,
you
like,
get plenty of these.
yeah.
And these are from Publix. Grade A, filet mignon.
No.
You train him, he'll eat the guy's leg off. He will never,
Right.
and then he'll go tell the other stalkers, and they'll say, she doesn't just have
Yeah,
security.
I didn't like that one.
She
very
has a
much. I
dog
was
that
like-
will eat your leg off because
like-
the dog wants a steak.
I'm like, yo, like, you know, you can write me a letter. Like, I'm all for like, send me a letter, right? But
Don't you know that mental health is at an all-time high right now?
like, you don't
Just look around. All you see is this,
I will
the ID
call
channel, and the TLC channel.
I will call the police if you show up at my house. What am I-
Do you think they care?
I mean,
Dog.
listen,
Dog.
this is not-
Dog or bear?
This is
Bear.
not
I don't think
rocket
you're allowed to have a
science.
bear.
Not rocket science.
Dog. It's not
Crazy.
nice dog that loves you.
Crazy.
All right, so we'll have everything in the description, all your websites, everything.
Awesome. Yeah. I
And
think
anything else?
so. No, I think
Anything
that's
else?
it. Thanks for having us
Oh,
tonight.
thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, for sure.
And then you have the new single coming out.
Yeah.
And I'm sure by the time
We do. I'm actually gonna say I'll send it to you. You're gonna be one of the first ones to get it.
Oh,
I'll
thank you. I
let you
appreciate
know
it.
when we know the live date. I'll let you know.
I'm so happy to see how
Tommy's-
much you've grown and how you're out
Yeah.
everywhere with Tory Lane, son. That's Breezy's boy. You know I was coming to that no matter what.
listen, there's
I was hoping maybe Breezy would be in the back of the
there's
car.
there's a lot more going on with Bismarck that we didn't talk about.
How funny was he goes, I know I'm at the Polo Club. I'm not swearing. Fuck. Right? Did he not? He shook.
Dude.
He was great. He
Who
he
was
goes,
it?
Tory Lane.
Tory Lane, he
Oh,
rocked
yeah,
that
yeah,
part.
yeah.
And he's like, don't worry, I'm not gonna swear. And he opens up, fuck this shit, da, 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 da. And he goes, I'm just kidding. And he was cool. He was very cool, very
Love
cool and proper. But I was hoping
So
Breezy
funny.
would pop out somewhere out of the I don't know. I can't say
Right.
bush because when Wellington was flat, but
Yeah.
the grass.
Yeah, the tall grass.
All right,
so
guys.
funny.
Thank you guys so much. Everything will be in the description.
Sweet.
And anytime you want to come back, the door's always open.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks so
Thank
much,
you.
Tommy.
Thank you.
All
Thank
right.
you.